But the Lord, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua, made the heavens.
Yeah, the Lord made the heavens and the earth, man. All right. So how can you contain the Most High into some raggedy ass church that's with a broken AC, man? All right, like it says in Acts 7:48, that Most High doesn't dwell in houses made by hand. Basically, roughly paraphrasing that scripture. You got something?
Yeah, I got something. Well, this is Isaiah 65, verse. I started 65 verse 1. I am sought of them that ask not for me. I am found of them that sought me not. I said, behold me, unto a nation that was not called by my name. I have spread out my hands all the day unto a rebellious people, which walketh in a way that was not good after their own thoughts.
Yeah, so the Lord is stretching his hand out, giving you time to repent. All right, and repentance is not going to church and saying I'm sorry and then doing the same shit over again, or going before some pedophile Catholic priest
saying Hail Marys,
under some fucking confessional booth. All right, it's actually repenting. The word repent is from the Greek word menaneo, which means to heartily amend for one's past sins. So if you were committing adultery, all right, that's a law that's punishable by death in the scriptures, man. If you were committing sorcery by doing drugs, if you were being a witch by selling drugs, all right, you need to repent from that. But that's what our people are into, man. We're telling you to repent before it's too late, man. All right, and you got something.
Verse 3, a people that provoketh me to anger continually to my face, that sacrificeth in gardens and burning incense upon altars of brick.
All right, go to after this, go to Exodus chapter 32, because we're gonna give you an example of you people going off since you came out of Egypt, man. You so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Let's go to Exodus 32 and give you an example of how you provoke the Lord and how you still do it to this day. Exodus 32, start from the top. Yeah, because it's continual, man. It's like day in and day out. Jake is just committing iniquity. And when I talk about Jake, I'm talking about you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, and yes, you confusion of faces out there. All right.
This is Exodus 32:1. And when the people saw that Moses delayed to come down out of the mount, the people gathered themselves together unto Aaron and said unto him, Up, make us gods, which shall go before us. For as for this Moses, the man that brought us up out of the land of Egypt, we wot not what is become of him.
And that goes to show you that our people have no patience and no faith. All right, the Lord brought you out of Egypt, out of hardcore bondage, and He's about to deliver you to a land of milk and honey. But you don't have enough patience to wait on the Lord to give you instructions on how to get there. That's our people today, man. They don't have no patience. They want a quick fix going to the Christian church.
Instant gratification is the word.
Instant gratification for what? They want an instant gratification. God loves you. God loves everybody. You can do whatever you want. That's that instant gratification that they give you. So our people having no patience and no faith goes back to the Exodus out of Egypt, man. Like I said, like the Lord brought you out of the Lord delivered you from the Egyptians. All right, He parted the sea. All right, He led you out by chariot day and night. And Jake is like, well, whatever, man. Let's pray on another guy because he taking too long.
And that show you they was in captivity too goddamn long, man.
Yeah.
You know, because what God did they run straight to? The gods of Egypt. They built the golden calf, and the god of that golden calf in Egypt, what is known as what? Apis the bull. So they still turn back to those Egyptian Mizraim deities, man. You got it, man.
Verse 2, and Aaron said unto them, break off the gold earrings which are in the ears of your wives, of your sons, and of your daughters, and bring them unto me. And all the people break off the golden earrings which were in their ears, and brought them unto Aaron. And he received them at their hand and fashioned it with a graven tool, after he had made it a molten calf. And they said, These be thy gods, O Israel, which brought thee up out of the land of Egypt.
So, yeah,
Damn.
that's an example of you
Today.
the Lord to your face, and that's still going on today. All right, people worship money, they worship women, they worship this decadent lifestyle of America. So they go and worship another God, invoking the Lord to his face. Man. So what do you think the Lord is going to do, man? The Lord is tired of it. Matter of fact,
That was the Lord's work.
yeah.
You know, the Lord delivered us out of Egypt to magnify His name. Right. Here it is. You got our people deciding that it wasn't Yahweh that delivered us out of Egypt. It was actually this golden calf. That's totally off. Like literally, they took the name of the Lord and scraped his name off. Took a Sharpie and X'd it out and signed another deity's name over. That's totally off.
Yeah, and that's what they're still doing today. When you read these accounts, it's the same thing that's happening. Those same rebellious Jakes that exited out of Egypt, they're here in America. Same thing going on. The scriptures say scriptures are written everything was written 4 times before I learned it. So when you read this book, it's like the never-ending story, man. When that boy was reading about Atreyu, he's reading about himself. So when we read about Israel going slap off and being rebellious, but then on the other end, we read about the righteous men, we read about what's being played out now.
This is Isaiah 42, verse 14. I have long time holding my peace. I have been still and refrained myself. Now will I cry like a travailing woman. I will destroy and devour at once.
And that's what's going to happen, man. These birth pains are happening until that delivery comes, man. All right? The Lord is just building up a case for 2/3 of you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. All right? Instead of just hearing the word of the Lord, you're out here partying, committing adultery, smoking weed, all right, going to church tomorrow, wearing these idols on your neck, not giving the Lord his due respect, not praising the name of the Lord. You praise other gods. So it's just a case building up, and he's getting tired of this shit, man. I mean, he brought you through, like we read about him, you bring him through Egypt, and you can read the book of Judges, and like Judges the 3rd chapter, for instance, of let's go ahead and read that. Is keep going back and forth, like Israel being rebellious and
cry.
Yeah, crying, the Lord deliver them, and then they just go slap off again. So start from Judges 3 and 4.
Right, this is Judges 3, verse 1. Now these are the nations which the Lord Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua left to prove Israel by them, even as many of Israel as had not known all the wars of Canaan. Only that the generations of the children of Israel might know, to teach them war at the least, such as before knew nothing thereof. Namely, 5 lords of the Philistines, and all the Canaanites, and the Sidonians, and the Hivites that dwelt in Mount Lebanon, from Mount Baal Hermon unto the entering in of Hamath. And they were to prove Israel by them, to know whether they would hearken unto the commandments of the Lord Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, which he commanded their fathers by the hand of Moses. And the children of Israel dwelt among the Canaanites, Hittites, and Amorites, and Perizzites, and Hivites, and Jebusites.
I mean, so Israel was living amongst these different nations, and it's basically like a test from the Lord to see what Israel was going to do.
And they took their daughters to be their wives, and gave their daughters to their sons.
See, that's another instance of Jake going off, man.
Yeah.
Giving themselves into these other nations and their philosophy. Same thing that's going on in America. You believe in democracy. Jake sends their children off in the war to fight these wars. All right. It basically, they're giving themselves to these other gods and praising their names in this modern day, man. And America's a melting pot. You got all these other nations right here. These nations could be found here in America, man. Because this is a melting pot. You got all these other nations with the different philosophies. Jake is into Buddhism. Jake is into Hinduism. Jake is into Christianity. All these different sects of so-called religion. So I mean, the same thing is happening then. The same thing was happening then is happening now.
Yeah, because marriage is that's a real sign of like peace and unity amongst you. You know, we would give our daughters to each other because we're at peace with each other. So when you go in within another nation and you say, "Oh, well, we're at peace. I want your son to have my daughter." That's a trade of, what's the word I'm looking for? That's a union of families.
Mm-hmm. And what happened with Jacob, when Jacob had it was his daughter Dinah that got raped by that Philistine son, that Philistine prince, and then Simeon and Levi, you know, because
circumcised.
Yeah, they basically had deceived the Hamitic Philistine prince and his men, and then after they basically he deceived them by saying, well, if you get circumcised, then the rape that you did to our sister will be forgiven.
Yeah.
But what happened was when they were circumcised, and then when they were, you know, healing up, that's when Simeon and Levi slew all of them, you know, because of the rape of their sister, you know. But Jacob had cursed them out. Yep. And that's why when you go into Genesis 49, Jacob had said, curse be their anger, you know. So basically, there was a union that Jacob had to make with those Hamites because of the fact that they took his daughter.
Yeah, see,
he didn't seek revenge. Simeon and Levi did, but guess what? They got rebuked for that. Okay, because there was a union between the families, which would have been peace, because Jacob understood his family was really just a sojourner in their land.
Yeah.
You know.
That's why they didn't get the firstborn blessing after Reuben.
Reuben didn't get it. Simeon didn't get it. Levi didn't get
And
it.
served their gods, and the children of Israel did evil in the sight of the Lord, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua, and forgot the Lord, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua, their power, and served Balaam and the groves.
Stop it. Let me go on.
Oh, this is verse 8. Therefore, the anger of the Lord, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua, was hot against Israel, and he sold them into the hand of the Cushan Rishatham, king of Mesopotamia, and the children of Israel served Cushan Rishatham.
Shushan Rishathaim. Or Kushan Rishathaim.
Rishatham.
Yeah. You gotta practice
8
that.
years.
Yeah, if you read that whole chapter, man, it's just, you know, Israel was going to slap off, worship another gods, and they cried to the Lord, and it was like repeatedly. But now we in this worse captivity, man. We went worse off than what our forefathers did nowadays, man.
Yeah, the Lord took his name. He took his. That's what was that Jeremiah.
15.
What is that? He said, discontinue us from his heritage.
Yeah,
17. Jeremiah 17.
Yeah, Jeremiah 17:4.
Because he took the name. He took our culture. He took the law. He took it all away from us. Because during the time of Judges, we knew. That's why we were able to do what? After, like you said, I think the first captivity was like an 8-year captivity. And then it increased from 8 to
18.
18
And then
so
20,
on and so forth.
22. Yeah.
But nevertheless, what do we have? We had the name. So the Lord, we could cry to the Lord, plead out, forgive us, and He would deliver us. But this time, He said, "The hell with that."
Yeah, that's the worst captivity. It's even worse than ancient Egypt. You know, because even in ancient Egypt, we had a realization the power of the Lord was with us. You know, for the most part, Jake knew they was Jake. Here, niggas believe they fucking everything under the sun. They under every religion, every philosophy. Because, you know, you got Jake's following Egyptian philosophies, Greek philosophies, Roman philosophies, and Babylonian philosophies. Either all in singularity or all in one, man.
That's right, bro.
You got it.
This is Jeremiah 17, verse 4. And thou, even thyself, shall discontinue from thy heritage that I gave thee.
And heritage, another word for heritage is culture. A people without a culture is you're not a people.
Yep.
You basically identify with the your oppressor. That's why all these things that that you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans are into is not really of you. It's of your oppressor, your defeater.
Yeah.
You know, like hey, you think about soul food. That shit ain't our food.
Nah, I know.
That's Esau. That's these so-called white people way of eating. That's why when you go to Mary Mac and these soul food restaurants, who be the main people coming out of it? Esau.
Yeah.
Esau love ham hocks and collard greens and shit like that.
Yeah, it was mainly Southern Edomites that would cook those dishes, and they would give Jake the byproducts, because you would have what, the big mama in the house, in the slave house, and she was the main cook. She would basically whip up whatever the master likes, and all the byproducts, the leftovers, they would take Jake, and you would have certain, because the big mama was in the house and she was still dealing with slaves too. So they would get trade recipes, they would actually exchange certain talents and things of that nature, and certain women on the outside in the what they call like the bars and things of that nature.
Yep.
They would adopt certain practices, even though it's not the same grade level pork, so to speak. It's the worst part of the pork. They would still cook the same damn near mutual dishes. Right?
Yeah, like pork and because a lot of that stuff is Jake though, like the fried chicken, and we had that that's in the scriptures. A lot of that stuff is in the scriptures. But what Esau did was he didn't know how to separate the clean from the unclean. And then whatever else he didn't want, he threw the pig stomachs and all that to Jake. So now Jake eat chitlins and all that.
Well, see how people identify with that, because
fat back and shit.
When they really should be identifying with we're a Middle Eastern people.
Mm-hmm.
Our roots come from the Middle East. We're Mediterranean. Mm-hmm. Israel is on the Mediterranean Sea.
Mm-hmm. Right.
When you Google a Mediterranean diet, it ain't no yams with marshmallows in it, man. All right, it's fish with high fat.
Right, that's pork.
Olive oil.
Yeah, high carb, high protein.
High protein, high fat. Lentils. We eat a very clean way of eating, man.
Jake don't even know how to eat like that now.
No, yeah.
I'm trying to still adjust, through the spirit. You try to get with certain herbs and spices, based foods, staying away from all them starches, Lord willing. Like, for instance, I'm trying to cut out starches and things of that nature, but that's really you tapping into your Middle Eastern, like you just said, the Eastern spirit.
Mm-hmm.
Because this Western diet is high in potatoes, mashed potatoes, like you said, candy yams.
White rice with everything.
White rice, and that shit just jacks your body all up.
All them unnecessary
Especially when you
sugars.
eat it with every meal.
Yeah.
Too much of that stuff would give you gout and
Clog your arteries.
hypertension and high blood pressure.
Matter of fact, you read that scripture
Eat
one more
green.
time. Jeremiah 17.
This is Jeremiah 17, verse 4. And thou, even thyself, shalt discontinue from thy inheritance that I gave thee, and I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not.
Yeah. We living it out right now, man. Serving our enemies in a land that we didn't know. All right. Well, we were here, man. But when Esau came, man, started coming with them decrees, man, and them unrighteous decrees. Every to the point where we don't know how to eat. We don't know how to treat each other nowadays. We don't know how to do anything on this side until we come back to the Heavenly Father, man. That's why you see Jake out here looking like a zombie, man. That's right. They don't know how to conduct themselves, man. They just think they niggas and bitches. They're aspiring to be rappers and fucking ball players. All right. Instead of being a priest to teach your people, man. And they're going to be a trap artist and sell his mixtape. That's all a nigga want to be in America. Man.
It's every nigga's dream.
That's every nigga's dream. Every nigga rap. Every nigga rap, man. We are seriously discontinued from our heritage too. We don't even know, who we are. But the men are out here to teach you about who you are. And as you can see, it's like crickets out here, man. Jake ain't trying to hear the word, man. Jake at the freak neck, man. Jake over there trying to get an autograph from Jazzy Faye or some shit, man.
Yeah, Trina or something.
Yeah, Trina, one of
Trick
them old
Daddy.
washed up celebrities, man.
You listen to the old DJ Taz music.
Yeah, DJ Taz gonna be there.
Hit hand on my hip shirt, man.
Raheem the Dream, goddamn. Yeah, he's supposed to be there. Kilo. But,
Kilo, god damn, that nigga still alive.
Kilo, yeah.
Shit.
It's Isaiah 31. Woe to the rebellious children, saith the Lord, that take counsel but not of me, and that cover with a covering but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin.
You can get a job.
Okay.
That's a battle right
and
there.
that's what the brother basically going into. instead of coming back to your own heritage, you taking after the customs in which Esau has presented you. All right, and you niggas not looking no further past that.
That's
right?
it.
Because they take Esau's word for gold. If this is the way the white man say we should eat, then this is what we gonna eat.
Right.
If he say this the way we should live, we gonna live. They gonna live.
That's right, brother.
They not gonna look until their power, you know, the how about Shimi Hawashai for their customs or their counsel. You know, they gonna go straight to the white man.
Yeah.
That's all the nigga know, and that's all the nigga wanna know. You tell him he the prince of the power and that he's God's chosen people, a nigga be ready to fight you over that. Like, why wouldn't you be want to be told that? You rather be a nigga.
Yeah.
My nigga, my nigga.
Yeah. And the term is PTSD, man, post-traumatic slave disorder. You know, a lot of Jakes suffer from those symptoms, and you see them actually imitating and duplicating the so-called white man because they don't have no identity. You know, when you see somebody without an identity, their whole notion is to steal identities, basically identity thieving, you know? Or if their identity are fucked up, what do? You steal somebody else's identity so that you can reattach yourself unto another name and have a clean slate.
So yeah, our people are choosing the ways of Esau, Edom, and so-called white man. Because this man is the ways of death, man. This man tells you that it's okay being a homosexual, but in nature, you don't see a dog, a male dog trying to sleep with another male dog. But he's telling you people to be homosexuals. That doesn't make any sense, man. Whatever the Most High got in these scriptures, the so-called white man goes against. But then he says that he wrote the Bible. All right. He says that he's God. And he gives you these leaders to further get you away from your identity. All right.
And I'm gonna add to your point. And then one way of doing that is posting, you know, a blonde-haired, blue-eyed white man as your so-called savior. And you niggas continue. If you were worshiping that image in 2019, man, I don't know what to tell you. There's no help for you, man. All right.
Oh, them Latin tribes, they love that image, man.
Oh, yeah.
That's the majority image in Latin America.
Well, yeah. Well, we ain't got the sign, man. You keep on following that Cesare Borgia picture, your ass gonna be ICE gonna deport your ass, man. Right. We didn't give you silly ass so-called Mexicans the truth, man. But you ain't hearkening to it, so now you got to go to a deportation center.
Yeah, it's supposed to be. ICE supposed to be doing a big raid this weekend. So hopefully they kick a whole bunch of spics out.
We ain't gonna cry. We ain't gonna shed a goddamn tear for you simple ass Mexicans, man.
Hey,
this word been out since 1969, and you goddamn Mexicans still ain't getting it right. All you so-called Latino tribes, the Northern Kingdom, y'all still gonna slap off with these goddamn idols, man. And then you're gonna find yourself in an ICE center, and you're gonna get presented the RFID chip, which is the mark of the beast.
And an ass whooping.
Yeah, the ass whooping.
And that's
what ICE been is notorious for, whooping Mexicans' asses and kicking them out, man.
Killing niggas at the border.
Now they're scared. Now that's the scariest enforcement agency, man.
Nacho Libre, your brown ass.
hey, well, that's the solution. The solution is going to be this microchip.
Yeah.
You know.
This is Hosea 4 verse 6. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee, that thou shalt be no priest to me. Seeing that thou hast forgotten the law of thy power, I will also forget thy children.
Yeah, and that's what's happening to the so-called Mexican, man. He's forgetting your children. Your children are scattered, just like how they did Jake back in slavery. This is a new form of slavery, man. The so-called white man got you so-called Mexicans in these old Walmarts. He's separating you from your children. Your children are in this part of this detention center, in this part of Texas, or this part of New Mexico, or this part of California, wherever the Mexican border lies at. He got your children separated. No, God knows what this damn devil's doing, molesting your children.
Feeding you hard grits.
Yeah, feeding you hard grits. He got you sleeping on goddamn foil and shit. But you don't want to hearken to the words of the Lord. Oh, I'm not a Hebrew Israelite. I'm Aztec.
Say less.
I'm Nika Talanka. I'm not a Hebrew Israelite.
They don't even know about that shit.
How to spell that shit.
I know.
They don't even know to spell that shit.
Nigga, just go eat some tacos and shut the hell up, man.
These Mexicans don't even know that they even go back to the Aztecs. I think I was talking to this one Mexican. He was Colombian, and I said something about the Aztec. Just trying to test them out. I said you go back to the Aztecs, right? He was like, which really, the Mexicans are really the Aztecs, but you know, it's the same ancient tribalism. So to speak. But he was like, nah, I didn't know that. Thinking like, nigga, that shit was just a couple hundred years ago, man. But y'all was calling yourselves that. But see, and just think about further than that, being the tribe of Issachar. You know, going back to biblical records to actually see a nationality, you can't go that far back, man.
Shit. You can't tell the Southern Kingdom the same way.
Yeah, you can't tell niggas shit, man. So
You can't tell the Israelites, man, nothing.
If I can add to, bro, if you
Niggas
niggas
American.
woke up by now and realized that Esau don't give a damn about you and this man the devil, off of those goddamn comments that Mitch McConnell made.
oh yeah,
Mitch McConnell showed you niggas, Latinos, and Native Pacific Indians how America really feels about you. He goes on to say that he don't think reparation for something that happened over 150 years ago is a good idea, and nobody in this present time that's living is responsible for it. Yeah. We gave you President Obama. Like, what more do you niggas want?
He might as well have said, "What more do you niggas want?" He should have said
He should have said that.
Like, we done gave you niggas all these gifts. We done made civil rights movements.
Gave you niggas jobs.
Yeah, like, y'all niggas ain't satisfied.
Yeah.
That's basically what he said.
And what he said, no one alive is responsible.
Right.
But then that's when you get Isaiah 14:21.
Exactly. Which this country says that they're built off biblical principles. Well, why don't you know that scripture? It's gonna come out your mouth, and they sworn in on the Bible.
Right.
Oh, well, they're not Esau though. That's why.
Oh,
Because they're not Esau.
And on top of everything is it's the power of inheritance. As we just read in Jeremiah 17:4, we had inherited these ass whoopings, loss of heritage, certain complexes and mental ailments from our forefathers. Because the ass whoopings they went through, what happened? It passed down generation to generation, generational slavery. And you have something known as generational wealth. It ain't these billionaires, multi-billionaires at 23. That nigga didn't work hard since he was 9 years old. He got fucking millions upon millions of dollars slapped in his bank account.
Right.
It wasn't investments. He wasn't a genius. His forefathers stole every goddamn thing, like Trump.
Exactly.
Trump didn't work hard to be the billionaire that he is today. What was his father's name? Fred? I forget his father's name. But his father was an investor. His father was an investor, and he was basically a thief. You know, he knew how to work the system. And from all that inheritance gaining, he deposited onto his son.
I'll just get one more scripture before I step down. With all this stuff we've been saying in the past 30-something minutes, man. Hey, man, it's time to come back to the Lord.
That's right, brother.
All right. Judah and Israel are going to press together, like it says in Jeremiah 50. All right. We give examples of you so-called Mexicans, all the way up to you so-called Negroes being oppressed. It's modern day, but it's still a folly spirit going on, man. But this word is only for the elect. So, we get Hosea 6 right here. This word is only for the elect, man. We can get down on Jake. We can talk shit about Jake through the spirit. You know what I'm saying? But this word is ultimately for the elect, those who want to get healed.
That's right, brother.
This is Hosea 6 verse 1. Come and let us return unto the Lord, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua, for he had torn and he will heal us. He had smitten and he will bind us up.
Right. The only reason why we're in this position is a disobedience problem. It's not that the so-called white man is smarter than us.
That's right.
Or he outwits us. It's a disobedience problem, man. So he's the one that gave us all these issues on this side because of disobedience, man. He's only asking us to return to him because the so-called white man is nothing more than a whooping stick. This nigga ain't smart. This nigga, he ain't doing nothing, man. Everything that Jake created on this side, he done stole it and you took a patent and steal it. So the only thing that's gonna have us, what I'm trying to say is basically we gotta come back to the Lord, man. He's gonna heal us from this PTSD, from deportations,
Stockholm
syndrome. All right, Jake walking up and down the street bugged out. All right, we're gonna get healed by coming back to that name of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua, man. That's right. We got some more. No, we can. Yeah, so with that, I'm gonna let the next brother blaze in the spirit.
Yeah, just like the brother was saying, man. You know, our people have been so jacked up and ridiculed, so to speak, to such a low state that they don't even know their nationality at this point. They don't know the nationality. They don't know their history. They damn sure don't know prophecy. So they're in a continual rut. If you leave it to the masters of Jake wouldn't leave America.
Yeah.
They got the 401k stacking up. They got the pension. You know, they got the retirement. That's for the successful niggas. You know. Then you have the impoverished Jakes that have the drug addiction that they want to stay on top of. You know, they you know, it's a slew of wickedness that Jake is possessed by, and they're possessed to the point that they don't want to see the kingdom. They don't want to see the kingdom of heaven. They don't want to see the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel banding and unifying themselves. They would rather black on black crime continue and to get a name and a rep for themselves only, and to have Jake envy them, man. It's a real foul, messed up spirit, but that's why the Lord is sending the prophets out to prophesy His word, so that we can recondition our minds and restructure our thoughts upon higher principles, man. You got that?
Yeah. This is Baruch 2 verse 30. For I knew that they will not hear me, because it is a stiff-necked people.
See, the Lord already knows, man. He knows all, sees all. He already has the clairvoyance, so to speak, of your thoughts. He knows that Jake is gonna, you know, eat pork. You know, he really knows how long Jake gonna be till they get this truth. You know, everything is on the timing with the Heavenly Father. That's why He's the power of time.
That's right.
He already knows 2/3 from 1/3. All we doing is just playing a role, so to speak.
The foolishness of preaching.
The foolishness of preaching. Read that over.
This is Baruch 2 verse 30. For I knew that they will not hear me, because it is a stiff-necked people.
And how are they not hearing the Lord? Through these prophecies. Like the brother said, it's like crickets out here, man. But if we were actually selling a rap CD, or if we were doing some type of madness, you would have this goddamn a line stretching all the way back to the next street, man.
Yeah.
Keep going.
But in the land of their captivities, they shall remember themselves.
But in the land of their captivity, they shall remember themselves. All right? And it's only a few that's going to hear. But just like he said, that I knew that they were not a stiff-necked people that wouldn't hear me, but in the land of captivity, they shall remember themselves. How are they going to remember themselves if they ain't going to hear you? That's a severance line, man. It's only a few that's going to listen and adhere to the words of Yahweh Shema Shai and walk according to the words of the Lord. And that's the ones that you see before you. Everybody else, you know, 2/3, they ain't gonna hear it, man.
That's right.
That's why, was that Jeremiah 6:9? Then said our Lord, how long? You know, because the angel put a blinder on majority of these people, man. That's why they're in a continual stupor. You tell these Mexicans that they go back to the tribe of Issachar. You tell these blacks that they go back to the head tribe, the same tribe that their Lord and Savior is from. They're not gonna believe it. You know, but if you tell them God loves everybody, everybody's gonna move for that.
12 tribes.
Yeah, the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. See? They said it like it's just something out of the normal.
Those tribals of Israel.
Like they never heard of it a day in their life. But it said all the Bibles, and the Bible is the #1 selling book.
And you should have
Everybody
stopped
has a
and read
Bible.
it.
The 12 tribes of the nation of Israel is all throughout the scriptures. But can you identify those tribes?
That's right.
Keep going.
But in the land of their captivities, they shall remember themselves.
Yeah.
I'm continuing on 31.
You got it.
And shall know that I am the Lord, their power, for I will give them a heart.
And if I may say, that's why the brother earlier was going into repentance. You know, the word penitentiary comes from the word repentance. Because what happens when you go to prison, you're supposed to what? Find yourself. Find your flaw in yourself. Correct the flaw.
Yeah.
So that's repentance.
Means sorrowful.
Sorrowful.
Sorry.
You go to prison to be sorrowful for the crimes that you committed. And they say, don't do the crime if you can't do the time. So what happens? We're in a prison sentence to find our faults.
Yep.
Yeah, either Jeremiah 42:22 or Isaiah 42. Because just like the captain was saying, you know, this is the penitentiary. You know, when you really think about it in the spirit, this is a complex penitentiary. All the same principles that that's laid out in a prison are laid out here, man.
That's right.
You know, the same structure. And either two things happens when you're in prison. Either you do right, you repent from your ill nature, and you get out, or you get institutionalized. And either you want to stay in there and just be the big dog in the system, or you just a guy that's in and out, in and out, in and out. Because that's a form of institutionalism.
Yep.
Like, nigga, you got out on charges for selling drugs, and you're gonna hit the streets and sell drugs again, what do you expect is gonna happen? You know what they diagnose that as? Mentally insane. When you keep doing the same thing repetitionally, expecting different results. You run your head into a wall, don't try to run through that wall again. It's obviously a blockade there that's gonna bash your goddamn head in.
Yeah.
But see, Jake will run and be like, no, I got it. If I keep running my head into this wall, it's gonna break. I'm gonna get a breakthrough.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, they ain't goddamn ICU.
Right.
You got that?
And like I say too, bro, the ones that do want to do right and come out, Esau don't stamp the label on your ass now that you can't get a job and progress in his society. So what they do, they revert back to selling those drugs and robbing and things, because you're a felon now.
Yep.
So Esau, double-edged sword on you niggas. You come institutionalized, and the ones that do want to do right, you can't.
That's right.
Yeah, because you have a wicked man on top of you that doesn't want to see you rise anyway. You got that?
Isaiah 42 and 22. But this is a people robbed and spoiled.
This is the people robbed and spoiled. When you're thinking about the people robbed and spoiled, you ain't thinking about the Japanese. They still got Japan. The Moabites.
Hell yeah.
The Chinese still got China. The Asians still got the Asiatic lands. The East Indians still got India. The Arabs still got their Saudi Arabia and all those Arabic lands that surround them. But what about the so-called African Americans, as we are known today? Do we really possess the land that is truly our homeland? Which Jacob still thinks that our homeland is Africa, but they don't even possess that, man.
Right. Chinese own that shit.
Chinese own the Chinese and the so-called white man. If you look up the scramble of Africa and you see the picture around the 1900s, matter of fact, let me type that in real fast. Type in what do you guys type in the scramble of Africa?
What is it called?
The scramble of Africa, and go to images where they got, you have the Portuguese on one side pulling a portion of Africa, you have the Spanish, you have the French, you have the Britain, all of them are getting their portion of Africa. So the so-called white man has spoiled us as a people. And they did the same thing, what? In South America, Brazil. That land doesn't belong to the Asherites. That belongs to the so-called white man.
Right.
And they renamed those names, those land names. That's why majority of those lands are either Spanish-speaking or they speak Portuguese,
French.
or French.
Yep.
Because you have, what you say?
I would say they're all derivatives.
Yep.
You know, of that Spanish tongue.
That's right, and it all goes back to their oppressors. They don't speak their original native language. None of them even know their native language.
So yeah, I
And
got
if,
that picture.
and if they do, it's dying out.
Shows most of the countries owned by
Broken Hebrew.
French, the British, Spanish, Portuguese, German, Italy, I guess Belgium.
Belgium.
And then there's like a small little piece that don't even matter that's independent, whatever that means.
Yeah, they probably just.
I mean, the
that's where all of
Rothschild
them go to
probably
freak
own
off,
that.
you know? But how many of them go back to the ancient land of the Cushites, or actually the Cushites actually own today, or the Mizraimites, you know, so to speak, Foot or Canaan? None of them, man. And that's the land that majority of you Jakes are representing and calling yourselves after African American when that land doesn't even belong to you. It never did any damn way. Yeah, you're Shemitic. You got to go all the way to the land of Israel, and even when you're dealing with that land has been stolen from you. Your nationality's been compromised. So that prophecy fulfills itself fully when it's dealing with you blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. No other nation. Read that over.
Isaiah 42 and 22. But this is a people robbed and spoiled. They are
So not only have you got robbed for your land, but you got spoiled. When you spoil a nation, you steal all their goods, the value of the nation. Let's deal with 70 AD, the siege of Jerusalem. They had Masada, and after they killed those Israelites and pushed them out of the land, they established something known as the Ark of Titus.
Yeah.
And in that Ark of Titus, when you magnify and really get into the description of it and see the images, you see Edomites running out of the land with rummaged goods, man. Big ass menorahs in their hands, gold, silver, and they also have the coin. Oh, they also have the coin that they coined after 70 AD, which is Judah Compta coin, man. And that word Judah Compta, Compta is conquer. So they conquered the tribe of Judah.
And when they conquered them, they spoiled them. Keep going.
They are all of them snared in holes, and they are hid in prison houses.
All of them are snared in holes. And me and the Captain Kabaj, we went to actually 17th Street, and we went to that ark over there, man. We actually went into the museum, and they were speaking about how that ark goes all the way back to Rome, man. It goes back to the Ark of Titus. So when you go to these different parts of America, they'll still have arks to reminisce and to subconsciously show you that you've been, your land has been taken over, man.
Yeah, it's an ark in Brooklyn.
Let's deal with the Native Americans. You have, what is that, Mount Rushmore, where you have the presidents? That's Mount Rushmore, correct?
Yeah, the founding fathers.
You have the founding fathers, but where's Crazy Horse? Where's Geronimo? There is no big monumental statue that has the 4 founding fathers of America. But those, of course, were just private leaders, but those were great representatives at that time. They fought against the so-called white man. They stood for their people. But who's actually honoring them? What big plaque do you have honoring those individuals? But you honoring the so-called white man because the so-called white man has robbed the sports. Keep going.
They are for a prey.
Yeah, they are for a prey. So if you're for a prey, then who's the apex predator in this animal kingdom of ours? The so-called white man, and we'll prove that he's a predator. 1 Peter 5:8.
And none delivered.
And none delivered, meaning nobody saving you. When you see a lion on basically the coattails of a young gazelle, ain't nobody gonna free that that gazelle out of that lion's hands. It's over.
Yeah, it's a wrap.
Especially when he clutched them claws in, because those lions, when you see how their claws are designed, it contracts and it has those their claws curve over. You'll see them jump on like a wildebeest, and they'll jump and they'll flip, but that wildebeest will flip with them because the claws sink into their flesh, and it ain't gonna unlock unless they allow it to unlock, man.
And it bites it on the neck.
Then it bites it on the neck, and that's over, man. They basically bust their jugular, so to speak, their airway, choke them out. It's over after that. So that's a comparison of eugenics here in America. You got that?
This is 1 Peter 5:8. Be sober, be vigilant,
Yeah, vigilant.
because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour.
Yeah, so he is the predator in this game of ours, man. You know, you have these different movies, like that movie that came out with Ice-T, where he was getting preyed on by the so-called white man. They had him and they had a bunch of good old boys around him, and their whole mission was to send him out. And they was whoever kills him basically is the winner, man.
Yep.
And that goes on today.
Cleaned them up, fed them.
It's a big game. It's a big sport to the so-called white man. It tells you in Proverbs, it's a sport for the wicked to do evil, man. It's a sport for the wicked to do mischief. And this white man is mischievous. Look how he going back to the natives. They would have war games, man. Whenever they would take you natives down, they would actually have you captive and have you tied up, you know, by your wrists in the back of your behind, so to speak, on your knees. And whoever could hack the head off that Native American first wins, man.
Hunger Games.
Hunger Games. Then they would chop the so-called Native Americans up. Somebody go hold on that Job 24:1. They would chop the Native Americans up, and they would feed them to the dogs as dog food. They would actually skin them and wear them as pants.
Redskins. That's
Redskins.
where you get Redskins from.
That's where you get the Redskins football team today, man. You know?
Esau nasty, man.
Esau's a nasty bastard, man.
Nasty, vile
And we just
creature.
speaking on a couple of records that we just have information of. We don't know the gravity of everything else. I seen a video years ago when they would say that the origins of Thanksgiving really goes back to cannibalism, man.
Yeah, eating.
Yeah, you're eating the Chiefs.
Yeah, the
the
chief
head.
would wear the
Turkey feathers.
the turkey feathers, and it basically it'd be like a form of beheading them. The cranberry sauce
Blood.
represent the blood, the stuffing represents the entrails, the insides, so on and so forth. And you gotta believe it dealing with this devil, man.
Right.
This man has a track record of cannibalism and wickedness. He don't put nothing past the devil himself. Is some on that?
This is 1 Peter 65 verse 9, whom resisted steadfast in the faith, knowing that the same afflictions are accomplished in your brethren that are in the world.
Keep going.
But the God of all grace, who had called us unto his eternal glory.
Yeah, but the power of all grace, which is the mercy, has called us into his eternal glory, which the glory is this word. It starts right now with this knowledge. Because before the glory is manifest, we have to prophesy it. We have to embody the glory.
You gotta talk about it.
We have to talk about it. That's why it's known as what? The gospel, the good news. Whenever you hear a message of something that's big to come, you shout it to the whole world, man.
That's right.
You know, like back in the day they had the movie The Willy Wonka. You know, Willy Wonka opened his big shop, so to speak, his chocolate factory up to everybody.
Yeah.
What happened? They was giving them golden tickets out. And they wasn't giving out freely. You had to be basically chosen in order to get one of those golden tickets. You know? And it's the same thing now. Only a chosen few will be able to receive the ticket to the kingdom of heaven. Keep going.
By Hamashiach Yahushua,
By Hamashiach Yahushua, keep going.
after that ye have suffered a while, make you perfect, establish, strengthen, settle you.
Yeah, so we're suffering here in this captivity, man. Some brothers are sick as hell on the block, so to speak. Inflammation, you know, bones is aching. But it's all for the greater good. That's why I said establish and strengthen your heart. You got to strengthen your mind and stay stable in this thing. Because the worst thing, the worst type of man to be amongst on the battlefield is an unstable one, man. Bipolar. You know? What's that?
Indecisive.
Indecisive.
Hesitant.
Don't know if you want to fight or run. You know? You got to stand stable. You got to stand concrete. No matter what shakes you. Because these demons, through the left-hand side spirits and through the physical counterpart of Satan, they're constantly beating at your doors, man. Every day is a battle. Every single day, you are at war with something, man. Whether it's a war with your thoughts, a war with your woman, you know?
Infirmities.
A war with your body, a war with your job, a war with bills, you know?
The war with bills,
Constant
boy.
battle. And it's not to crawl over and admit defeat. It's to fight unto the end. Because as it is written in Matthew 24, he that endureth to the end, the same shall be saved. You got that?
This is Job chapter 24 and verse 1. Why? Seeing times are not hidden from the Almighty. Do they that know him not see his days?
Keep going.
Some remove the landmarks.
Some remove the landmarks. Now, when you go into the ancient biblical law, that's a commandment not to remove a neighbor's landmark. It would be a marker that would indicate that land belongs to somebody. White man honor the biblical biblical commandment? Hell no. He overrides the commandments. That's why when you had dealing with the Europeans, you had the French, the Spanish, like I said earlier, the Dutch. They came over this land in the spirit of conquering, man. They wasn't looking to settle, hey, you know, can we buy some land from y'all? I see y'all got this big ass America. I know y'all got enough. You know, we could just set up shop. We could get our little factories.
I know you got a little bit
get y'all
from me.
peace. We could get our peace.
We'll stay out the way.
We'll stay out the way.
That's what they told them. But they lied.
That's what they told them. They got together a little. We taking all this shit. They just don't know. And Gab being simple as hell. Oh yeah, you know.
Take my daughter.
Yeah, take my daughter.
They take my daughter too.
After a while, them boats kept coming, man.
Them both kept.
And them guns kept stockpiling. Next thing you know, it was war. See? So the so-called white man, he has a ruling class mentality. He has a mentality of conquering. That's why, what's that saying? I forget the term. Manifest destiny. They coined that term when they conquered this land, that is their destiny manifest basically to take this land. It was their God-given right to take this land. And they feel that about the whole world. Job 9 and 24 relates to the so-called white man to a T.
Yeah, nobody.
Nobody else feels that way but the so-called white man. Even we know that there's certain lands that don't belong to us, so to speak. You have the land of Edom. That's the Edomites' land. Of course, you know, even in the ancient world, even if we would have like Edomites in captivity, we wouldn't take over their whole land and set up shop.
Right.
You know, because at the end of the day, that's the land of Edom. They need their boundaries and their portions like we need our portions.
Yeah.
But the so-called white man says nobody has a portion
but us.
Yep.
That's why everywhere you step on, you got to pay taxes. We paying taxes whether we know it or not on this land right here.
Yes.
Taxpayers' money goes towards roadways.
Yep. Paving the roads.
Anything
And,
public.
yep.
Yep. Everything, man. So you going on that?
It says, verse 2, some remove the landmarks.
Some remove the landmark.
They violently take away flocks.
Violently. Whenever you take something violently, it's a lot of blood that comes in the midst of that. You know? You actually ripping something out of the hands of somebody. And if you do that amongst the whole nation, what happens? That's war. So it says some violently take away what?
Some violently take away flocks and feed thereof.
Yeah, that's why when you go into these wars that took place here in the shores of America, those were some of the bloodiest wars that happened on the face of the earth, man. But they say 77 million Native Americans. And then they choked off so many natives that they had to come to the West Africa to get some more slaves, man.
Yeah.
They poisoned the hell out of the Native Americans, and they basically almost created a genocide. So they said, we got to restock. So let's go to the west coast of Africa, and let's go get some good old niggas to build this land.
And then the native tribes,
Blacks.
you know, Gadden was like the warriors, so they wasn't down with no, you know, I'm gonna sit here and work in the field. They was rebelling and shit. You know, they didn't care about, you know, dying for a good cause. So they couldn't really put them into captivity. And then going into the flocks, taken away violently, that's what they did with the buffalo. They starved Gad out. I don't know if y'all remember when we was going into it a while back, you know, we seen the articles about how many buffalo they killed.
Oh, yeah.
Man,
It used to be millions.
it'd be millions of buffalo just roaming around, man. You see a buffalo,
You had a zoo.
yeah. Lucky you see a
You
buffalo.
goddamn seen a unicorn.
You know, right? You seen a buffalo, I've seen a unicorn.
Remember if I ever even seen a buffalo?
And you know, there's an article that just recently came out that in the because you know every 4 years the federal government does a census, and they're saying in the year 2020 they don't even know if they're gonna have Native Americans on the census. That's how defeated of a nation Gad is that they're not even counted no more.
Yeah, the lowest nation on the face of the earth.
Yep. And that's Esau also too, distorting the heritage. You know, because what they're gonna have to identify here is either probably white or black or something.
Yeah.
You know,
Spanish,
Black
yeah, you know.
other.
And see, you have now in today's time where
He's trying to cover his lies up still.
they trying to make it where none of these tribes really exist. They say blacks are a mixture. Cubans are a mixture of Spanish,
Yep.
white, and I think Portuguese. That's what they say Cubans are.
They say Simeon too. They try to say the
There's no such thing as a Dominican. They say all the Dominicans, the original Aboriginals of that land, all of them died off.
died off, and that's really
They just got inbred in the Dominican Republic.
trying to Simeon.
So they're trying to wipe you off as a nation, man. And they know at the end of the day, as it is written in Ecclesiastes, that there's no end of the people.
Yeah.
The Native Americans, the Seminole Indians, the Dominicans, the Haitians, Jamaicans, all the 12 tribes of the nations of Israel, they are here today.
I got a quick one.
You got it.
This is Psalms 83 and 3, and it says that they have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against the hidden ones.
Yep.
They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation.
Yeah, they have these summit meetings. Like, now I remember watching this Netflix show. It was dealing with the Zulu Nation. The Zulu Nation in Africa, that was a big nation, man. They would go to war with the so-called white man, and they was winning a lot of those wars. So you would have the so-called white man get together, and you seen it in the video. They do their little council meetings, and they're trying to figure out the best tactics in order to clean up all those Zulus. Whether it's inside infiltration, kill the leader, and reestablish a puppet leader, poison their water supply, their food supply, do anything in their means in order to take over that people. Because when you take down the people, you take the land. It's not only the people that they want to take down; they want your land. They want what's under the land. Because they know these lands are very, very rich in resources. You can read this on that.
Yeah, cuz like some of the honey filling. Psalms 83 and 4. And they have said, come, let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance.
Yeah, African American, black, Puerto Rican, Cuban,
Haitian.
Jamaican. Those ain't even nationalities, man. What the hell is a Jamaican, man? The word Jamaican means land of wood and water, man.
Slavery.
Yeah.
Yep.
The word Haitian means hell. What the hell is what is the people of hell, man?
Hey, I ain't gonna.
You know?
That's
Puerto-
hell over there.
Yeah, and that's perfect name.
Hey, but that's what they wanted though. They made that deal. The priest made that deal.
They went from being joined to the most side of literally being in hell, man.
You want to fuck with the left hand side? That's what they
You
got.
have the Puerto Ricans. Their name goes back to rich pork. Colombians. They're named after Christopher fucking Columbus, man.
Mm-hmm.
So if you ask the Colombian, hey, your nationality name goes back to Christopher Columbus. What's your actual nationality before
He defeated you.
he defeated you? They look at you like you have fucking 10 heads, man. They don't know. See that? But that's why the Lord has to set up prophets to tell you, because the so-called white man has snatched your nationality out of you,
Yes.
your power from you. Some more on that?
No, that was it on that.
Job 24, you got something?
This is Job 24, start from the top. 2. This is Job 24 and verse 2. Some remove the landmarks, they violently take away flocks and feed thereof.
And feed thereof, keep going.
Con. They drive away the ass and the fatherless, they take the widow ox for a plague.
Yeah,
pledge.
so when you deal with the so-called white man, when he came to the shores of America and Africa and the whole world, he used the same tactics. He comes in the spirit of peace, ignites war, kills the people, poisons their supplies, establishes the puppet government, and comes in the spirit of democracy, man. Pushes religion on them. That's why Christianity and Catholicism, that's not our religion, man. That's really the so-called white man's religion.
Yes.
Because what image do they have everybody bowing down to? White Jesus, white Mary. Y'all get Job 9:24.
White Jesus and white man.
Yeah, white Jesus and white Mary, both of them. And these Latin tribes, they never thought, why can't Jesus be a Latino? Of course, we know him as he's an actual Israelite from the tribe of Judah.
Mm-hmm.
But if they were actually wise and they had an independent mindset, they would erase all those white images, and they would actually have a Latino. Like, well, you know what? All of us are Latino. Why the fuck is we worshiping a white God, man?
Yep.
Hey, because Moab don't do that. Moab showed you, if you see a picture of Jesus, it'll be a Chinese Jesus. You got the Arabic Jesus, but Israel is the only nation that just accepts what Esau gave them.
They didn't call themselves and name all their sons Jesus.
You got a Cushite Ethiopian Jesus with an
Mary,
Yeah.
Maria.
Jesus. Maria.
Christina Maria.
These gonna be the biggest whores of that.
Christina Maria.
Her name is Mary. She a big slut, man. The exact opposite of Mary.
Slutty virgin.
Yes.
It's an oxymoron.
See, that's why the Lord has to get. Hey, and when you deal with these Latins, there's a lot of native Latin tribes, man. The Lord got to kill off a lot of Latins, man.
The Latins make up the biggest portion of the nation.
Israel, right. He gave them 10 tribes.
And then if the Latins were in their right mindset, America would have been done, man. You know?
They just want to fucking salsa down the street.
Yeah, they just want to F off, man. They just want to eat burritos, drink Coronas, and parlay.
All I do is watch soccer and eat
That's
tecate.
it, man.
I mean, drink
Right,
tecate.
and ride mechanical bulls and shit.
And work for a check, send their money to Mexico.
Drink tecate.
That's all. That's the
line
life
here, man.
of a Latino, man.
Hey man, can I add something real quick?
You got it.
Yeah, I was talking to the Israelite at my job, and I was asking him how is it down, because he said he's from South Mexico. I'm like, how is it down there? Is it like, you running from violence and drug lords and all that shit? He's like, no, it ain't like that. He said it's real cool. It's really easy to live down there. We work 2 to 3 days a week, and we party the rest.
That's all, man.
Hey, but that's the prophecy though. What did it say? That Issachar is a
From rest good.
Yeah. From the rest was good.
And rest was
That's
good.
how you know that's Issachar.
Yeah, that's Genesis 49.
You know?
and he saw that rest was good.
And saw
I
that
love
rest.
resting, man.
Another
Just
word for
chilling.
rest is fiesta.
And see, the Lord gave, matter of fact, get that in Genesis 49. The Lord gave each and every tribe, we're gonna go back there. The Lord gave these different tribes certain spirit animals, man. Judah is a lion, but it's the negative side of a lion. It said that they crouch down as an old
It's an
lion.
old lion.
Because a young lion in his ferociousness, he got a lot of testosterone. He's wanting to take something down, pop women, take over lands.
Judah.
Because when you look at lions and really get into like the sociology of lions, they're conquering, man.
Yeah.
They're taking over territory.
Their roar can be
Their
heard for
pride.
like 5+ miles.
Yep, 5 plus miles. Yep.
And when you see like lions, the male lion, they just popping women all day and just marking territory all over the area.
And sleeping.
But see, Jake want to do that now,
They
but we
train
ain't in
their
that time,
sons.
man. It's not our risk.
You spoke about like spirit animals. When you speaking about Gad earlier, simple as is. Well, when you read about them, they said they're swift like the chase road. They're like a deer.
Yeah.
They got hunted
Oh,
and demolished
damn.
by Esau.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying? By the gun. How do you hunt a deer with a gun
With a
or
gun.
with a gun, Kenny?
That deer can't do nothing against that.
A rifle at
A
that.
rifle.
Got a scope on his ass.
Yep.
So there's the positive and negatives. You see the positive
Yeah, it
side
used to
of
be
being
able to dodge, but
the
you
animal
can't
and
dodge
the
bullet
negative,
no more.
the Achilles heel of each and every one of our spirits, man.
That's right, bro.
You can start with Judah and you can jump
Now
in.
they get hunted like a wolf.
Genesis
Right.
chapter 49, verse 8. Judah, thou art he whom thy brethren shall praise. Thy hand shall be in the neck of thy enemies.
That's right, keep going.
Thy father's children shall bow down before thee.
Keep going.
Judah is a lion's whelp.
Judah is what?
A lion's whelp.
Judah is a lion's whelp. That's why you have on the sign, you have the lion. Now, like I said, you got the positive side of lions, like when a lion is in its raw energy, ain't nothing taking that lion down. You have that saying, if a lion knows his own strip, no man can contain him. But you got certain lions that get institutionalized too.
Yeah.
Go to the circus. Like, man, how much lions weigh?
Down there a ton.
Some
Damn,
can weigh,
ton
yeah,
lion
you're like
jumping through
1,300
hoops
pounds.
With the
Well,
little colorful shit around his neck.
Got barrettes in his hair
Yeah,
and shit.
barrettes. Got his hair dolled up.
Braid up.
oh, that's the
braid-
cowardly lion from the Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
cowardly lion.
Yeah,
But
he had
that's
the
Jake.
barrettes and Jake.
Keep going.
Courage.
And you're supposed to be conquering stuff, popping ribs, tearing up hyenas and shit. The enemy, nothing
Popping
standing
lionesses.
before you.
Jake,
Roaring, so people can hear you for miles. Jake ain't doing none of that no more.
Jake like the lion from Madagascar.
I like Marty. And Marty
They
wanted
want to eat zebras.
Right.
Don't even want to go back
Get
there.
cool
wanna
with
go
the
back.
enemy. So, Jake ain't shit, man.
Jake ain't.
That's the prime example.
Jake ain't shit.
Scooter riding nigga.
He said, I thought he said, excuse me, nigga.
That's what he said. He said, excuse me, nigga. That's what he
I
said.
said niggers. Sound like an Edomite, man. Read that over.
All right, Carlton.
It's Genesis chapter
Right.
49, verse
Carlton
9.
See, the Lord be manifesting exactly what we be saying.
Yep.
Because we roaring out here. It tells you that in what Proverbs 28. And it tells you what that Proverbs 30 and 30.
Niggas.
Excuse me, nigga.
All right, because like I said, there's a
Right.
positive side, which we're tapping into our inner line. Hold that real fast. Proverbs
I
30
could
and
just
30.
say excuse me and just let it go. That's highly disrespectful.
He got ass spice.
Yeah.
You didn't even have to say
He
nothing.
didn't have to say it. He could just say excuse me and then just
Like you
keep
didn't
going.
laugh.
Yeah, like you right.
He said it says, excuse me, my niggas at least.
Yeah,
Proverbs 30 and verse 30.
Yeah, like
A lion which is strongest amongst beasts
See, a lion which is strongest amongst beasts, king of the jungle. Keep going.
and turneth not away for any.
And turneth not away for any. That's the mentality you should be in as a lion. Not an old lion, a young lion, full of ferociousness, full of vitality, testosterone, ready to take some shit down. Jake ain't ready to take nothing down. They can hardly even conquer their woman, man. Women be slapping them upside the head. You know, taking their paychecks, and they don't do nothing about it. So we gotta raise up in the spirit. You got that? Keep going on that Genesis 49.
Genesis chapter 49, verse 9. Judah is a lion's whelp from the prey, my son. Thou art going up. He stooped down. He crouched as a lion.
See, he stooped down, meaning to humble himself, get real low. He crouched as a what?
As a lion.
As a lion, keep going.
And as an old lion,
As an old lion.
who shall rouse him up?
Yeah, an old lion looking like he's ready to give up the ghost, man. Don't want to battle no more. Tired, ready, damn near finna get kicked out the pride because he ain't putting in no work.
Can't reproduce.
Can't reproduce. Just through, man. Mane all jacked up.
Flies all in his face and
Flies
shit.
all on his face. Getting his ass whooped by the women lions. Because you'll lionesses, you'll see certain prides where those lionesses be whooping up on those males' asses, man. Chase them out. Especially with wolves. You know? If you ain't on your P's and Q's as a wolf and you burdensome, your ass will get starved out, man. Yep. And just like what happens when they take down prey and all those animals gotta surround and get their portion, if you ain't strong enough, you ain't eat.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
If you can't take nothing down, and if you can't get in there and get your portion, you ain't eating.
Mm-hmm.
So you gotta get into the raw vitality of yourself, man. That raw vigor.
To make you fall behind the pack.
Get out of that sleeper.
Another wolf.
I got it. You got that. All right.
This is Genesis chapter 49, verse 14.
Now let's deal with Issachar.
Oh man.
Issachar is a strong ass couching down between two burdens.
Yeah, those Mexicans are strong, man. You work with those Mexicans on the job, they be looking like fucking super workers, man. Like, damn, man, you was born to work.
They was born.
Like, how the hell you put that on your back like that? I can hardly pick it up.
They gonna lift that.
They had that one video that one Jake was struggling with that big ass
That metal thing, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
thing, trying to figure out all the angles and shit. Issachar threw that thing on him and started walking up the back.
What up a ladder?
What up
Right, with the
with
ladder
it?
with it. Yep. He said, "No way, my friend, I got it."
If Issachar could take their physical strength
They used to do me
and
like-
transfer it to
Yeah,
mental
man.
strength, they'd be the number one tribe.
They'd be the
and
number one, yes.
on the planet Earth, man. Issachar strong, man.
Mm-hmm.
Hard workers, 20 hours a day. All they need is a corona, they get back straight.
Yeah.
Their energy don't, like people energy go down. They got something tapped into their DNA where their energy just don't go down.
It never falls.
It never
Man, I used to work.
They'll be out here and it'll be 180 degrees outside. And they be working their weed whacker, cutting grass and shit.
Oh, we,
Man,
fully girded.
I was working with Issachar, right? This was like 2 or 3 summers back. It's like 80, 90 degrees. My foreman was like, "Yo, you hot?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm hot." He said, "It's not hot." he told me, he said, "You know how hot it is in Mexico?" He said, "Like 110 degrees." Making me feel bad and shit.
Hell yeah.
He said, "It's like 100 degrees in Mexico."
I'll be working with
Shit.
this Issachar, right, man. I told him, man, I said, man, when I get paid, I'm giving this dude half my check. He doing my work
Like, he
and
deserves
his work.
He deserves it.
I'm like, how the hell you doing this shit? I'm telling you, he be looking like one of them fucking characters. He'll pop up right here, you see him, and then I'll do something. He right here, like, what the fuck? He couldn't have walked over here, man. He had to literally disappear and reappear right here. I said, when I get paid, I gotta at least I gotta cut him half of this.
Yo, back on my worst side, they be wearing long sleeve shirts in the sun.
Yeah.
Which is actually very smart.
Yeah,
Yeah, smart. Yeah, because your
Because,
sweat stays inside your
Yep. I was looking at it, I said, "Why you wearing the long sleeve shirts?" They looking at me like,
Yeah.
I'm sweating and still working. He looked at me like, "Hey, keep you cool and keep the sun from goddamn fucking up the skin."
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I started wearing long.
And also, when you're dealing with lawn care, you're dealing with a lot of bugs and things that can get on your skin and irritate you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Keep going on that.
Grass itching.
Verse 15. He saw that rest was good.
He saw that rest was good. But see, the bad side of being a donkey is being dumb as hell. Get Isaiah 1.
Yeah.
Because as strong as they are, you have that term of black body over black brain. Well, it's really like Mexican body over Mexican brain. Because they're not using the brains of Issachar in these summit meetings, man. They don't need you Mexicans when they're dealing with council meetings and dealing with representing and restructuring America, the blueprints and things of that nature.
Right, infrastructure.
Pushing technology. They need you to work. They need you at the bottom of the barrel. See, that's why they get tired of you Mexicans and what they're doing. They're kicking you out. You damn near built America.
Well, they're really only gonna go so far because they kick out all the Issacharites, man. It's a wrap for
They're kicking out the ones that they don't need, and they're gonna keep the rest.
They're gonna make an example out of them.
You got that what it was?
God. This is Isaiah 1 and verse 1. The vision of Isaiah, the son of Amos. I'm saying that right.
Get the main point with the ass.
The ass.
Yeah, one ass 3, one ass no master spirit. 4.
God. This is Isaiah 1 and 3. The ox knoweth his owner.
Yeah, the ox, which is a low IQ animal known for their stupidity and stubbornness. That's why they have that bull on that bull ring.
The scepter.
Yeah, you have to pull them. You have to pull them from that area because it's real sensitive, and that's the only way for them to cooperate. Keep going.
Come. The ox knoweth his owner, and the ass his master's crib.
The ass is master's crib. Now you have that term today called dumbasses. The reason why they call people dumbasses is because asses are known to be pretty stupid. You know?
Stubborn.
Because really all animals have a level of intellect, but it's just a level of stubbornness and a level of self-will.
Right.
It's the same
That's
thing
what
with
it
Mexicans.
is. Self-will.
Mexicans have a heavy self-will, man.
If I may say, because us brothers was like talking about Issachar, how they like dumb, stupid, like they I mean, so dumb, stupid, like smart, stupid.
Oh yeah.
They have some smart ass ideas, but just be simple as hell. And the priest says because they limit themselves. When you go into Numbers 24 or that account, what did that ass do to Balaam? He was stubborn as hell, but he wasn't simple. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
This is an angel right there, man. He didn't want to move.
Oh, yeah, I think he was whooping his ass.
Yeah, whooping his ass. What you beating my ass for? Because he didn't want to move, because he was stubborn. It's the same thing Issachar is.
And that's how you know Issachar. Issachar's stubborn, they need their asses. And the Lord is going to give that ass whooping until 12 tribes wake up. What is that? How many thousand? I'm tripping. 12,000 from each tribe. That 12,000 wake up and that 1/3. Because you deal with Issachar, their whole life, they got an American dream lifestyle. They just want to work, have women, or not women, excuse me, have a woman, have children,
Yep.
They
drink, and chill. That's it. You know, you have one household, fucking 12 Mexicans in there, man. But they cool with that.
Be like
They're not trying to get a fatter crib. See, like Jake,
3 generations.
Jake try to go for the gusto, man. Every nigga want to be a millionaire.
Yep.
It be one Jake and one baby mother, and they want to live in this. Solo.
Solo.
That's a nigga attitude.
That's Jake, man.
Issachar had a whole nation in there.
You talk to every Jake got a blueprint on how they gonna be a millionaire and never get there. Jake 38. Yeah, I'm gonna get these mixtapes off, man. You know, I'm gonna meet Young Jeezy, and I always got some damn story on how they gonna make it, but they ain't never gonna get there.
I don't had 2 niggas try to sell me goddamn mixtape CDs in 2019. I'm like, man, what the hell I'm gonna do with that? We got flash drives too, nigga. No, you don't.
But see, it's the mentality. It's the mentality thing with Jake. Jake does have a mentality where they want to rule, where they want to be, you know, be big, so to speak. Issachar don't want none of that. That's why there's such a hard nation to tap into, man. To seduce. They got their language, and so it's a big language barrier through the spirit. You know, but the Lord's going to do a heavy shaking to wake them up, man. He's going to personally visit Mexico. You know? All those South American lands, he's going to personally visit these areas that these Mexicans live amongst. And he's going to shake them up to the point that they get right. So you keep going on that? You know, on that point?
This is Isaiah 1 and 3. The ox knoweth his owner, and the ass his master's crib. But Israel doth not know.
Yeah, and as stupid and as stubborn as an ox and an ass is, they do have a level of wisdom when it comes to the sleeping quarters. Right. Does Issachar? No. And that deals with majority of you tribes, man. That's why majority of these Mexicans and these other tribes, because we're dealing with Issachar now, they're fully engulfed in Catholicism. Especially their women, man. And they bugged out. They got the rosary beads. They spend all kind of money on these different idols.
Catholicism and voodoo.
Yeah.
Santa Maria.
And they're really just a simple ass tribe. It ain't much with Issachar. They just got good ass food, you know. They party and they bullshit around all day, man.
Yeah, the Lord really ain't dealing with them.
That's really all they good for is drinking and eating and getting fat.
Yeah, they simple, man. At least with Jake, each, you know, with Judah, every Judah is kind of versatile. You know what I'm saying? They got a little bit of different type of salt and flavor about them. Issachar, all of them, they seem like they came out of a fucking conveyor belt, man. Now, of course, you know, they different one way or another, but the bulk of Issachar, they just got that same mindset.
They all are born with Bob the Builder tools, man. A fucking hammer. And
my first. Remember the old play school
measuring,
play?
the tape measurer.
Tape measure.
They just get sent to the world to just go build shit.
Yeah, just work
Or they cook.
or cook. That's
Yeah.
it. That's what they
This is Genesis chapter 49, verse 15. And he saw that rest was good, and at the land that it was pleasant.
Yeah, so when you working hard and you doing your thing, there's nothing wrong with resting, but the trick of it is, this isn't our rest.
That's right.
Yep.
So even though you're sleeping, you still got to have in your back of your mind, you got to work for salvation, man. You got to work in the spirit. But see, Issachar, what happens? They put 14, 15 hours on the job, they ain't got no spiritual energy to put towards the Lord.
Yeah, they treat because they work their asses off.
They work their asses off.
That's why I quit that shit.
Then they get their paycheck and send it straight to Mexico, so it's a revolving door. You would think all that work that they put in, that they would be one of the richest nations, but they really one of the poorest.
And where's the Issachar, Issachar
That's
fly neighborhood with just Issacharites in it? You know, even Judah will have neighborhoods in different parts of different cities around Babylon that's like, oh, this is where the rich Negroes live at. You know, where's that at for Issachar in the northern kingdom? Nowhere.
Because they're bad
They
money
do. They live right
managers,
on. They live right
man.
amongst
They
Esau.
simple as hell. They give all their money away. And the so-called white man has control over that land to the point where they're working for nothing. Because what they do is they'll take their money, they'll bust their asses in America, the illegal ones, and they'll take their money and send it to Mexico, which really all that money doesn't go any fucking way. Mexico is horrible, man. You would think that Mexico would be like a paradise for all that money that be sent down. What they sent over $1 billion last year or something like that?
I think it was,
Yeah, I did
Billions?
video
I think it was billions.
They,
Billions of dollars?
2016, they sent $66 billion
Yeah.
back home.
And forget it. And what about at one point Mexico was the #1 exporter of oil. That's which goes into the prophecy of the land was pleasant. So they had all the oil. They got all the resources. Think about the geography location of Mexico. It sits right there. They got the Gulf of
There's
Mexico.
jungle down there too. Jungle, you got jungle.
Jungles. You got all this going on.
You got
You got-
South America right there.
it's perfect
Central
location.
America.
Those two big bodies of water in the middle,
Which-
on the east and west.
You know, Gad would consider all this land of North America, Canada, Mexico as the Great Turtle,
Turtle Island.
Turtle Island.
Turtle Island.
So when you look at where Mexico sits at on it, where is Mexico? The tail.
The tail. Yeah,
It's the tail
tail.
aspect.
Yep.
And tail, that's where your animal's power's at, man.
That's crazy because I was looking up that this morning.
Oh yeah, kind of.
Yeah,
shit.
look at
That's a bad point, man. Like alligators or crocodiles, they powers in that tail. They'll whiplash you. That shit gonna fuck you up, man.
Komodo dragons.
Komodo dragons.
Yeah, that's
With that tail on.
behemoth.
And
So the
tails.
power is in his tail, like a cedar tree.
And the tail grab
And Joe 40.
is a instrument of balance too. That's why majority of animals have tails, because they actually keep their equilibrium. You know, yeah, like a dog and things of that nature. But see, they use Mexico as a haven to push drugs from South America to North America. That's why you have those two big ass cartels. I think the Sinaloa cartel and the other cartel sitting on both sides, the east and west, warring with each other, man.
Yeah, some of the lower
For drugs.
South.
And the only ones
Southwest.
that make it big is really the drug dealers. Everybody else is jacked up.
Right.
You know, these El Chapos and, you know,
Yeah,
all
Serrano's is north.
these Mexican drug dealers.
Sinaloa
And they get
is,
so big,
south-
and what happens? The
southwest
so-called white
east.
man takes everything from them. So it's a never-ending cycle. It gets you nowhere. All this work, trying to put in work in America gets you nowhere. That's why Solomon said it best. Vanity of vanities, all is vanity. The only thing that you can profit is in the spirit. You got some?
Yes, Lord. And bowed his shoulder to bear, and became a servant unto tribute.
Serving unto tribute. What's that? That word tribute is work. Like when you have a tributary, that's really taxes. You Mexicans are servants to taxes, man. But we all pay taxes because the scripture says what? That we're subject to payments. It tells you that in Peru. But that's really what's going on with all of us as a nation, man. And mainly you Mexicans. You work. Oh, it tells you that hack out. All to put it in holes or not. So it's not going to get you anywhere.
And that's why Esau loves these so-called Mexicans, these illegals, because he can get them on his construction sites, knowing damn well that they should be making $1,000 a week.
Right.
But what he'll do is he'll just pay them a solid $400, $500. He'll
Shit,
say,
really, 2,000 a week.
well, really, yeah, more like $2,000 a
Yeah,
week.
more
But he'll
2,000
turn
a
around and pay him like $500 a week,
Yep.
and say, well, no, you owe us because you're illegal, we got to pay for your health insurance. We got to
Right.
pay for these aspects of
Right.
your because you're illegal and you're not documented. So Esau, man, he makes money hand over fist with with Issachar on all levels, man. They ain't making no money on these job sites.
They ain't making. They getting cut, like you said, they getting cut to basically
That's where the
fourth
tears going
of the
in.
money. But these Mexicans, they have a lot of skills too. You know, each Mexican, you know, has built-in mechanic skills, you know, construction skills, plumbing, all in goddamn what? Carpentry. They know how to do all that shit. Then they'll work, like you said, they don't pay them by the hour, they'll just pay them by the week. You do 70 hours and they'll give you a $300 check, $400 check. But you can't quit and find another job like that because what? You're illegal. And them papers, to get your legal papers, that costs a lot of money, man.
Costs time and money.
Time and money. You got to get your green card. It's a process with all that. You got to hire
We got
a
one over there
lawyer.
in the cab.
You got to go through these long, tedious
Yeah, you
processes.
gotta go
Because
there.
whenever you're dealing with the so-called white men in this courts, they love playing the waiting game, filibuster. You got to jump through all these hurdles. You got to pay this fee, this application fee, and you got to pay this, and then you might not even be granted approval. So what happens? You might have to wait. And then as a citizen, you can't have no, felonies. You can't do this and that and the other. So they make it. They put all these different blocks. They fortify it. Basically, the law system to the point where you could never be a legal citizen. You don't have the money to pay, and even if you do have the money, you have to wait through all these different processes. So it gets to a point where basically you'll stay illegal, a second-class citizen, not even a citizen.
Yeah, not even.
An immigrant.
Illegal one at that.
An illegal one at that. You see? So this is a game, going back to what I was saying earlier. This is all the so-called white man, this is the so-called white man's gigantic monopoly.
Yep.
Good right here. You might get you a little territory right here. Get you a little territory, you move 5 steps forward, land in jail. You gotta pay all that shit back, going right back to the start. And you ever play one of them board games? That shit seems like it never fucking ends.
Because who's ever won Monopoly?
Yeah.
Nobody's. Who's ever played the board game and won?
And that white man on the Monopoly board is what? What's his name? I think it's one of the Oppenheimers at J.P. Morgan.
Yeah, more. Yeah, you got the
And that word monopoly is mono is one,
One,
and poly is many. Out of many, one. That's the so-called white man. One of the so-called white man's known mantras that they go by. You got that over there?
Khan. This is the book of Obadiah in verse 3. The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee.
Yeah. So now we're going to Esau. We dealt with 'cause like I said before earlier, reverting back to the point that we all have our spirit animals. It's a positive and a negative, and Gad tapped into that knowledge. They looked at it, of course, like it's an actual animal, but it's something that represents you. You know, like the scriptures say that certain people are likened unto snakes. That's like a spirit animal. They call the black woman is likened unto a what? A black widow, man. That would be something like a spirit animal. You see, not literally like it's a goddamn a fucking gorilla on your side walking with you at each time, because that's really how Gad used to believe through their gods and their totem poles.
Yeah, that's
and all their worship.
spirit. And is that more like is this symbology? It's just symbology, yeah.
Which they were right to a certain degree in the symbology, because the scriptures go into that.
But then you get people that worship those, like the scriptures say, make no engraven image of anything on heaven and on earth.
Mm-hmm.
And what does our people do? That's where
totem, they call them totems.
Esau got that from Gad, like what you're saying, spirit animals. Because what do you have now? Teams, the Atlanta Falcons, the Atlanta Hawks, the Georgia Bulldogs, and people worship them animals, man. It's a form of idol worship.
Idol worship.
That's why they wear the hats and jerseys. They go so hard.
They go so hard, they'll kill you over that shit.
Yeah, they'll kill you over that.
How about them dogs?
You're not on the. You don't play.
Yeah,
You're not
you
on
ain't
the
on the
team.
team.
Nigga didn't even go to the college, but he'll kill you over some UGA.
Right.
Don't go to an Eagles game where the Cowboys show up.
Oh yeah. See?
They'll actually beat you.
Yeah, they'll riot, man.
They'll
Right.
beat your
Some
ass
people
up.
get knocked the hell out over that shit. Talk the wrong shit about the wrong team if you want. Crack you on the head. especially some drunk Edomite.
Hey, fuck you, man.
And then somebody get shot in that Toronto parade after the Raptors won last week.
Yeah, someone got shot.
Yeah.
Two people got shot at
They got shot.
This is Obadiah, verse 3. The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the cliffs of the rock.
Right, it says the pride of thy heart have deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock. And who is that? The so-called white man, the Caucasian race. They came out of the caves with a plan to conquer and to take down nations. Was that? And what cave is that? The Caucasus Mountains. You have the Black Sea, the Caspian Sea, and when you deal with the Bullens, Kagan Bullen, and the kings at that time, which one of them name was Obadiah. You had one of the descendants of Kagan Bullen, which he converted to Judaism.
Yeah.
And one of his descendants, his name was Obadiah Bullen. Because what? That's prophecy. That's an omen to show what? When you deal with Obadiah, that's Esau, man.
Yeah.
So it all turns full circle. Esau will reveal itself. When you get into that history and you see, you're like, oh man, there ain't no working around. This is
Damn,
fact,
nah.
man. And another historical fact is Alexander the Great. He fought at the Caucasus Mountains. He defended the Caucasus Mountains against Gog and Magog. Now I think it was the Russians at that time. They actually fought, and he defended the Caucasus Mountains. And it's a prophecy going into that, so to speak. You know, a so-called saying, a popular proverb that goes into that. But that shows you that land, man, that Caucasus Mountain, the prophecies, it links up and it correlates perfectly. Keep going.
God. Whose habitation is high.
Whose habitation is high. Their
Yes.
dwelling quarters. In the ancient world, when you would deal with ancient quarters of living, they were never this elevated, so to speak. You had the pyramids of Egypt, where they were pretty high, but those wasn't dwelling quarters of living in.
Yeah.
Those were
Treasure cities.
treasure cities. And after the pharaohs would die, they would actually basically take their bodies and then they would create the pyramids and this, that, and the other. But you had you had the ziggurats and things of that nature in Mesopotamia.
Mm-hmm.
But dealing with this, you have the Caucasus Mountains. You have and today you have what these skyscraper buildings,
High rises.
these high rises. All right, so that fits perfectly too. Whose habitation is high? Keep going.
Whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground?
And the heart goes back to the Hebrew word la, which means mind. Who says in his mind, who shall bring me down? The U.S. military, they have in the mindset that nobody can take them down. They always believe that. And they still believe that unto this day. That's why the budget is so high when you deal with the federal budget. Majority of money goes towards the military. You know? And they don't feel like Russia could take them down. They don't feel like China could take them down. Iran and all these different countries. They feel like whatever land they invade is going to be success. They're gonna take them and they're gonna conquer. But see, the energy changed with the war of Vietnam. When the war of Vietnam actually occurred, the Americans was getting their asses handed to them. Right? Those troops was coming back in body bags. It was so bad that they started to censor the photos, because they would actually have images and things of that nature that they would publicly.
Why they stopped filming?
They had to stop filming. It was bad in the war of Vietnam, because they couldn't deal with those fucking gooks, man. You know those gooks are real. What's the word I'm trying to find?
When it was in the swamps.
Yeah, they was in
there.
the swamps. They would set those booby traps. They would put feces on the booby traps. You land in the booby trap. Right when you get stabbed, your wound would get infected. You would die off from that. They were jacking them all.
They still got unused mines over there.
Yeah, mines and things of that nature.
Landmines.
So the so-called white man is losing his power, but he still has that pump. He still has that mindset. Ain't nothing changed. Keep going.
God. Who shall bring me down to the ground?
Who shall bring me down to the ground? Meaning, who's going to drop a good old America? Who's going to take us out of power? We established ourselves in 1776. Nobody has come close to taking us down. All right, World War I, World War II. And even how they feel about World War III, they feel like all is going to be a success.
God. Verse 4. Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle.
Yeah, though you exalt yourself as the eagle, when you deal with the
symbol of America, that's really the spirit animal or the spiritual animal representative of America is the eagle.
Done.
And you had I think Theodore Roosevelt, which I'm gonna get that quote.
Was it Benjamin Franklin?
It might have been Benjamin Franklin that quoted.
Yeah.
He said it was somebody.
Yeah.
He said it was a dirty bird. How would you choose that?
Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord.
And show you that the eagle is
about America.
the animal. It's a felony to shoot an eagle down. If you kill an eagle or you mess with eagle eggs, you go to jail. But hey, let a cop shoot a Negro boy down. You go get a vacation.
You get a paid vacation.
A paid vacation.
Administrative, what do you call it?
Administrative leave. And a
Chill
book
out for a
deal.
little bit.
Well, the officer's under investigation.
And sell the gun and he killed him.
Like Zimmerman did.
Oh, Zimmerman made a lot of money off that.
Yeah.
Hit a quote right here. Benjamin Franklin. I wish the bald eagle had not been chosen. I wish the bald eagle had not been chosen as the representative of our country. He is a bird of bad moral character, like those among men who live by sharpening and robbing. He is generally poor and often very lousy. The turkey is a much more respectable bird, and withal a true original native of America.
Right.
But see, the gator, they actually use that as their animal of choice. But see, that's the perfect animal that Esau represents. Because like he said, it's an animal of despicable and bad character.
And that's America.
Lousy.
America's
He's
lousy,
a thief,
poor.
foul, filthy. But see, they have the strength. The strength of the bald eagle is their exaltation. They fly very high.
Yep.
They have aerial vision.
The predator.
Apex predators. And who's hunting? What animal do you know that's hunting the eagle? Name one.
Flies the highest.
Outweigh.
Another eagle.
Yeah, another.
Yeah, another eagle.
Maybe another eagle.
I think like the golden eagle or something.
It might fight
another
another
eagle.
but for the most part, nothing is hunting the eagle. So the so-called white man is representing, preferably America, represents that eagle to perfection. Who's really hunting down America? They've been speaking about Iran and this, that, and the other. Iran, a couple years back, speaking about their nuclear programs. But how many countries have Iran invaded? Name some. Now, can we name some countries that America has invaded? All you gotta do is say the whole fucking world, man.
Yeah.
Somewhere in some continent, countries in the continent, America invaded.
Edom,
You gonna find it.
Edom as a whole, because Russia invaded countries, Britain invaded countries, of course America, but the other European Edomite nations, they all invaded other countries because Esau, like the scripture says, when you talk about Esau as a whole, he keepeth not at home. He but to himself all people. And America's at the top of the list for invasion.
Yeah, now you got these South Africans trying to push the Rothschilds out of South Africa. But they trying to steal their enterprises and really recoat their names on top of them. So you got these South Africans protesting with Rothschild signs telling them to get the fuck out of there. That's Esau. You got something?
I started verse 12.
No, go ahead, bro.
It's Isaiah chapter 14, verse 12. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning?
Yeah, so that bird is getting shot down.
Duck hunt.
Duck hunt.
Yep.
So who's got the, would it say ain't no fun when the rabbits got the gun?
Yeah.
We the so-called rabbits. But we got, the Lord's giving us artillery to shoot. He's giving us the weapons to shoot.
Bitch ass out the air.
Hebrews 4:12. You ain't got to get it, but that's a quote.
How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations?
Yeah, when you cut down something to the ground, you're constantly hacking till it falls. They were known to be what's that in Isaiah 14? They call him feller. They were known as that feller, that hacking down the trees because the trees in the scriptures represent the people.
That's right.
But see, now the people are hacking down that big tree. Esau is known as they flourish as the green bay tree. Esau is known as a giant tree in the scriptures. But who's hacking this tree down? Somebody got to hack this tree down for it to fall. That means you have to take up arms and you have to actually strike
And it's the prophets, the men of the Lord.
Oh yeah, I said the prophets going to Jeremiah. It said, "I shall put the words in thy mouth, and they shall be fire, and these people shall be wood." And it says, "I've hewn them by the prophets." So we're the ones chopping this wood and chopping these trees down.
Yeah, we got that back and forth saw pulling that way.
You get tired,
Yeah,
and you go to jump up.
Yep. Got all kind of axes.
And then the scriptures speak about Esau shall be, what is that, Job the 5th chapter? Shall be uprooted.
Right.
Yep. Yeah. Oh, and you know how you chop down a tree, really? From the top down.
Top down.
You know?
Starting with the elites, man.
Yep. Starting at the top of these
Isaiah
devils.
47.
What's it? Amalek was the first of the nations. Numbers 24. You know, because our spiritual battle is with the elites of Esau.
Yeah,
Then the rest of these people is gonna fall.
And we ain't worried about these 9 to 5 Edomites, man.
Right.
You know, because when the tree falls, everything falls with it. You know, you chop the head off a snake, you ain't got to worry about the rest of the snake. You see? Just like back in the ancient world, which I always quote, when kings would go to war, you would have 2 kings that would war, and you would see the men clash, and as they scuffle, if the king get killed,
Everybody just stop and battle.
everybody just drop the sword. Like, oh, shit,
they drop the sword and take a knee.
Yeah. It don't matter if you had a 1,000 troops and they only had fucking 50. If that king is dead, well, the fight is over.
It's like everybody just like look around and like,
It's over.
Let's go home.
You got
John wants to defend the king.
put their hands out.
The king get taken down. They just y'all took our king down.
Shot
Now
the
we
head
gotta
off.
either bow down to you or get murdered.
Yep, they chopped the head off the snake.
Yep.
You watched that on the movie Hobbit, the Battle of 5 Armies. I seen that a while back. But he
That's a
said
good
he looked
movie.
at the top because everybody was fighting, but he thought, man, fuck all these, many minions, man. He looked up and seen the dude at the top. He said, I'm gonna go chop the head off the snake. He did so, you know. That's the mindset you should be in. You got Jake trying to fight these fucking LAPD, NYPD, APD. These ain't nothing but some dumb dogs, man.
Some donut eating crackers.
Yeah, some donut eating, fucking fat, overweight police officers. And they getting their asses taxed and their asses whooped by the powers that be. Yeah, so who the hell are they? It's about getting the manipulators, the puppeteers, the ones that's controlling everything. That's small.
Isaiah chapter 14, verse 13. For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend to the heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of the Most High. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north.
That's proud, man. Proud as hell. And he's done that. He got a space station. He has omnipotence where he's actually monitoring and he has surveillance on everything and everybody. And it's not like it's a so-called white man like the elites are constantly checking the feed and seeing what's going on. They got the algorithms, man. They got algorithms. They got the computer that works for them. They got the law enforcement. That's why when you look at the pyramid chart where they'll show like from the bottom on top, they'll have the bottom, they have the law enforcement, they'll have the ground runners. And as they go up, as the spectrums go up, you start seeing the government. You start to see judges, politicians, different forms of control.
Yep.
And you start to see the media. You start to see the news outlets, all these different things.
The
And then it
corporations.
goes up to the fortune,
Well, and above the media is a corporation.
Then you have the corporations. Then you have the who's the ones that control the corporation, which that word corporation, the root word of it is corpse, which is body. You have the arms, you have the legs, the extremities, the fingers. But where's the head? Who's the head of all these different things?
The banks.
The banksters. They're the ones that finance. They're the ones that actually run everything. That's why you have these Rothschild banks, all these different banks, whether it's many banks or major banks, all of them are controlled by a certain family.
That's right.
The banksters. All right, that's why these banks are really, European, all these European owned, which they'll set these lesser luminaries down here to make a couple billions, make a little bit of money. But really, they're not controlling. They're not really controlling,
The figureheads.
Yeah, they're the figureheads. Like, what was it? J.P. Morgan, they thought that he was the man, but they said he only had a percentage of what the Rothschilds actually control.
Yeah, he died broke too.
Well, yeah, they pushed whatever he started. Rockefeller and them pushed him out, and they took over what he had.
And he died broke. believe.
And not only do they control
I thought some of them down on the Titanic.
paper fiat currency, they control the diamond district. They control the gold. They control the silver enterprises. They control the oil mines.
Intellectual property.
Intellectual property.
Intellectual properties, yep.
They control buildings, roadways. Man, the people.
Trade-
Revelation
trademarks and
18.
stuff.
You got Jake trying to get a nice ass Benz, man. What the hell? Who's the one that's owning the Benz? The Benz companies. That's importing these products over here and marking them up to the heavens and making you pay $50,000, $60,000 for it when it's only worth like fucking $5.
Yeah, that's light.
Oh, hey, I had this, I was talking to this German guy, which he worked for them. He was over here to Atlanta on like a business trip. And he was like, man, he was like, shit, business over there is not nearly as much as it is over here. But over here, it's like an import. Of course, it's an import, so it will be marked up. But it's like a luxury car. Over there, that's pretty much all they got.
That's all they got. That's their
You know,
domestic car.
Yeah, it's a domestic car. So, you know, it's a matter, of course, trade and how it works. But at the same time, you know, you're really paying for something that's.
No, you're paying. It's like liquor. Like I saw this article dealing with Ace of Spade. They said it only cost the company like maybe $5 to $10 to make a bottle of Ace of Spade.
Yeah, Ace of Spades.
It was like a $1,200 bottle.
Oh, yeah.
Ciroc.
But by the time you get it in the club,
Right.
you paying $2,000-$3,000 for that bottle that literally cost them $5-$6 to make.
Oh, let's deal with the mics, man, the J's and all. But this is, you know, he's a regular Jake. But all these products that you purchase, Levi's, you know,
Cell phones.
You're paying for the name.
Yeah, you're paying for the brand.
You're paying for the
Yeah,
name.
these iPhones. What's the newest iPhone that's gonna come out soon?
iPhone
11.
55 or whatever.
But see, this is how you know it ain't
iPhone
worth nothing.
Infinity.
Because you'll pay like $700 a couple years later. They only sell you can buy them for $30.
Yep.
If it actually appreciated and the value retained, the price doesn't drop. Prices don't drop on gold. Gold ain't gonna be just worth
$3.
Yeah, just gonna drop to $3. Hey, if you can get gold on cheap demand, nah. It retains its value to the end.
It's called intrinsic value.
Intrinsic value. Which these things don't hold intrinsic value. Nothing holds intrinsic value but a couple of price commodities, so to speak.
Right. Like the only reason why it drops is because it's based off of the value of the dollar depending on the market. So if the dollar goes up, then the price of gold is dropped.
And that's all because
What if
of
it goes
buyer
down?
and seller habits.
Yeah.
Yeah, demand.
Yeah.
When they trust in the dollar, they buy less gold. When
Right.
They distrust the dollar, they buy
They buy
more
more
gold.
gold,
But it
right.
doesn't take
So
away
the
the
price goes
value
up.
of the gold.
Right.
It doesn't take away the value.
Right. That's it.
That's why the price fluctuates.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't drop.
Right.
Right.
A drop is when that
Gold
thing
is gold.
From high to you paying only like 1/10 of the percentage.
You're giving it away.
Yeah, you're basically giving it away. Like you said, cell phones and things of that nature. Look at PlayStation 3s and Xbox 360s. You could get those for like $100 or something. I mean, but when they first came out,
Like
I
$400,
you
$500.
was paying about $500.
Yeah.
Not more.
These new or these video games, these games be like $60 for a video game.
Right.
But then after a while, you go to GameStop
It'd be $20, $30.
and you can buy it for
$10
$5.99. See?
You might use
But that's how
resale value.
Yeah, you might. It just came out.
Yeah, I did. This came out 6 months ago. Especially a 2K game.
See, that's how Esau get you, man. You some more on that?
Yeah, Isaiah 14:14. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most
I
High.
would be like the Most High, be like God. He wants to be like the Most High. He wants to emulate the Most High, take his mannerisms, his spirit. That's why the first thing they want to do is conquer the book. Control the book, control the narrative, and you can control the people. All right? While keeping yourselves amiss from the principles that's already written in the book. That's what they call what? Diplomatic immunity. So-called white man can shoot a black man in the head on camera and get acquitted. Now you get a couple of them that get locked up. But for the most part, you got all these white people be getting away scot-free, man. You got that?
John. This is Obadiah, starting at verse 4. Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord.
Yeah, so this is the time for the so-called white man to fall. Babylon the Great to fall. Rome in its apex, it was strong as hell, man. Nobody believed ancient Rome was gonna fall. They had the centurions, they had the military, they had the chariots, they had the water systems, they had the best choice land, they had the conquerance, they had all the entertainment, they had the revenue streams, they had the road streams, they had the import routes, they had everything lock, stock, and barrel as they thought. But it was still chinks in the armor, and that's how they fell, man.
Verse 5, if these came to thee, if robbers by night.
Yeah, that's what it meant.
Okay, John.
You read over now. Start at verse 4.
God. This is Obadiah, verse 4. Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, this will I bring thee down, saith the Lord.
Yeah, that goes to show you. I'm just gonna land back off of Abad Barzal when you were speaking about how high and mighty Esau is. All right, get hold Matthew. Hold Luke chapter 2. We start at 1. All right, let's see. 2 Thessalonians. Where that's at? All right, reread on the back.
God. This is Obadiah, verse 4. Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle.
So he exalts himself. When you're in a position of exalting yourself, you're in a position of pride.
Yep.
Okay? You're high and mighty. There's another word for it, which is haughty. Okay? Your head stuck up, your chin to the sky, your chest out. Esau is conducting himself right now. That's his demeanor. The word demeanor means your body language, or the way you move, the way you act. They say what? Communication is like what? 80-90% body language? Or Esau's body language is showing that he's a very haughty man. All right, go ahead.
John. And it says, though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars.
Set thy nest among the stars. Now you have the Air Force that just got split into like a space force. And they set their satellites up there, you know, they try to make space stations and shit high up in the atmosphere. I'm not gonna say space, because no one can get to space. That's another dimension. They're just very high in the atmosphere. Once they set themselves up there, they just, hey, I can do all things. I'm God now. All right, go ahead.
Thence will I bring thee down.
Thence will I bring thee down, man. The Lord, you too close, man. Arms with the way. You get your ass back down on earth. See? Read 2 Thessalonians. Pick out that here,
2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 4. Who opposeth and exalteth himself above that is called God.
That's right. Who opposes and exalted himself above those that are called God. Get whole Luke 2, but get Psalms 82 and 6 real quick. I want to make it clear. Reread that.
2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 4. Who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God.
All that is called God. Read Psalm 82 and 6.
This is Psalms 82 and verse 6. I have said, ye are gods.
Okay, so aren't we gods? So he opposes himself over the elect 144 too. Right. Yes, this is primarily, you know, speaking about like he thinks he's above Yahweh, but he thinks he's above us too. When in all actuality, even though we're in a lower state, he still ain't above us.
No.
He still ain't above us. We're above him. We have the spirit. We have things that he can't touch. All right, we're immune to his bullshit, to his carnal activities. All right.
He can't bow the spirit.
Hey, the scriptures say, what Yahweh trying to say? We can kill, the Lord can kill the body and soul in hell. All right, but Esau, he can only kill what you see in with a fleshly eye. All right. So we read Psalm 82 and 6.
Psalms 82 and verse 6. I have said, ye are gods, and all of you are children of the Most High.
And all you are children of the Most High. That's why we come out here week in and week out, and we bring this stick, according to what's that, Ezekiel 37.
Yep.
To reel in the elect, like the Abad Barzal was going into, 12,000 from each tribe to reel y'all in. You know, Because y'all are the children of the Most High. Yasharala, he's the prince of the power. What's a prince? It's a son of somebody. A son of what? A king. Who's our king? Yahweh Shai. Yahweh why Yahweh Shai? Okay? That's our king. And we're his sons, so we're a prince of the power.
That's
keep
right.
Keep reading them.
Verse 7, but ye shall die like
So
men.
die like men because we went off the law, statutes, and commandments. So now we're mortal. All right? Anybody can touch us. But the one thing that the men of the Lord understand, you can't touch our spirit. That's why we're not scared of death. All right? That's why we spiritually stabilize ourselves to fall in any lot that we behold in the day of trouble. Okay? If we have to be in the lot of Revelation 20 and 4, then so be it. It's fine. If we have to be in the lot of what is that? 1st and 2nd Maccabees, the 7th chapter, where the Maccabean brothers had to go through what they went through, well, so be it. If we have to be in the lot of having spiritual power and getting a certain select people out of tribulation, so be it. You better, whatever lot you get, it suffice because you win at the end of the day, whether you die or you live through all of it. Okay? So is that it on there?
And fall like one of the princes.
And fall like one of the princes. An example of falling like one of the princes, read the whole chapter of 2nd Chronicles 36. You just, after King Josiah, all of them, all these kings just started falling. And ultimately got to King Zedekiah, and the Lord was like, all right, fuck it, man, I'm tired of y'all. Jeremiah 15:1, cast them out of my sight. Even though I gave you Samuel, god damn, man. Let this nigger call fast for me. I asked for these 5 loud cars. So it's like after King Zedekiah, then came the siege of Jerusalem.
Your own house at night.
Then came the siege of Jerusalem, man, where the Babylonians came and took
Waking up everybody.
It's in Philippians chapter 4, verse 11. Not that I speak in respect of want, for I have learned in whatsoever state I am, there would to be content.
That's right. It's sufficient for you. Keep going.
Verse 12. I know both how to be abased and I know how to abound.
I know how to base and how to abound. Okay? I know how to be up, I know how to be down. Let's go. I know the brother brought this up because what I was speaking about, you fall in your lot at the end of the day. Whether it be quote unquote good or quote unquote bad. Real talk, all of it's good if you're in a lot that Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai gave you in righteousness.
That's right.
It's good. If he gave you a lot that you are to die, you died in righteousness. You're the first one to risen back up. You get to beam your brothers back up. That's a good feeling right there. You won. You 1 Corinthians 15. Victor or death was thy sting. You have victory over. Romans the 6th chapter. It tells you that you paraphrasing that you conquered death. Because Yahweh Shai did it. Alright? Keep going.
Everywhere and all things I am instructed, both to be full and to be hungry.
Everywhere and all things. All he's saying is, I'm instructed to have a balance. Yahweh Shai said it. My yoke. Take ye my yoke. When you go into that word yoke, it means balance. He's saying, observe my balance that I have. Okay? Keep going.
Both to abound and to suffer need.
Abound and suffer need. Keep going.
I can do all things through Hamashiach, which strengthen me.
I can do all things through Hamashiach, Yahweh Shai, who strengthens me. All right, so go back to the 2nd Thessalonians, because it's nigger Esau. All right.
2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 4.
And 8. We read Philippians 4 and 13. We're going to conquer him through Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, because we're going to be able to do all things. Coming soon.
That's right, brother.
That's just not in the kingdom. We're going to be able to do all things. God damn it. In Jacob's trouble, coming soon. I hope tomorrow. You see what I'm saying? Hey, the scripture's saying sooner than what we believe. So it's the power's right around the corner. We already got an inkling of the power. I'm gonna say a personal testimony. It was like Tuesday night. I told the brothers, man, go outside. The sky is super active. But it had just got done raining like the night, during that day. But it kind of started to clear up during the night. It was real cloudy where I was. But I saw a few stars. I saw the moon. It was full, looking beautiful. Just beholding the Most High's creations, not worshiping, but just appreciating. You see what I'm saying? And then in my head, I prayed to the Lord. I was like, can you clear the sky so I could just see a star or two. Next thing you know, it's a big circle around me. Clouds on the east, the west, the north, and the south. But a big circle around me, and I see like 2 or 3 shooting chariots. You got power. If you do it in the name of Yahushua. Yahushua said in the John, what was it? I think it's either John 17, I think it's John 17 or 14. It may be 14. Anything you ask in my name, I will do. Straight up. That's what he said. Anything you ask in my name, I will do. That's straight up. Lord, can you please clear the sky so I can behold your work, your wondrous works? Yeah. I thought that was amazing. I was like, I just showed a little power, something just little on me. Because I used the name of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. Just a small little testimony like that. And the scriptures say we're going to do greater things than what Yahweh Shah was doing.
Hey, just like I said, it's power that we can tap into, but sometimes you got to watch what you actually ask for too. Yeah. I remember, I think I heard of certain Jake asked something pertaining to opening his mind to the spirit.
See the real world, he bugged out.
See the spirit world. Nah, you don't want to. Don't pray for that. The Lord fucking send a fucking goblin your way. You send a fucking 20-foot demon.
Damn leprechaun come at your ass.
20 eyes. Hell yeah.
Fucking it clown. Hey, like I said, anything you ask in my name, I will do. That's why when you read that, you got to use wisdom and use the book of Ecclesiasticus. Before you go pray to the Lord, prepare thyself. You got to be careful what you ask for. You got to prepare yourself before you ask the Lord. When you ask for humility, prepare yourself. Prepare yourself. Because when you ask the Lord to do something, he doesn't just, voila. He gives it to you through a situation. He puts you through a situation so you can practice humility. Okay? You may have prayed for humility, and now a brother's in your ass, just rebuking you. And you're like, well, this is how my humility came. You better prepare yourself for it. If you didn't, you're going to buck up and get cast out the congregation. Next thing you know, you were part of the lot in Ecclesiasticus 1 and 30. You get cast down at the bottom of the congregation because you're a hypocrite. And you didn't worship the Lord in spirit and truth.
I was full of deceit.
Yeah, exactly. You're a faker. You fake the funk. You better be careful what you ask for. If you ask for wisdom, if you ask for knowledge, be careful. Because then the Lord's going to test you by seeping a little pride up in you. You better shut the fuck up. I'm going to say that straight up.
Study to be quiet.
There you go. There you go, bro. I'm going to say that straight up. I'm saying that for personal experiences, man. You think you know something, you don't know shit. You got to sit your ass down and shut up.
Yeah, because sometimes you'll pray for things and you don't even know why you're praying for them. That's why, the Lord just said keep it general with your prayers. Sometimes Jay just want knowledge. Like, why you want all this knowledge, though?
Exactly.
Knowledge applied, it's falling on deaf ears. You should want, if you're praying for knowledge, you should also pray for wisdom and understanding. And when you're praying for wisdom to carry the knowledge, you're really praying for suffering.
Basically.
Because wisdom activated has to be through trials and tribulations.
Hell.
So when hell comes your way, you pray for knowledge and you pray for wisdom. You see, so now you have to fulfill those things through going through the actions of it.
Beautifully put. I was speaking to the brother you died last night, man. It's like the more his name means knowledge. The more knowledge you get, the more responsibilities you get. Something more is expected of you. Because now you know. I don't expect this no more. I expect this, because you know. You see? What's your precept, brother?
I got a precept what the brother was going into. You can break it down. It's Matthew chapter 12, verse 36. But I say unto you that every idle word that man shall speak, they shall give account thereof in the day of judgment. So like the elder was talking about, man, be careful what you ask for. Because he's gonna put you in that state, just like in Jacob's trouble. We always talk about Jacob's trouble, and to endure, he's gonna test our faith in Jacob's trouble, even on our day-to-day basis. Be careful.
A whole lot of words.
Shut the fuck up.
Keep it simple and spirit.
Shut up.
Just be meekful, humble, quiet, and just look up to brothers as an example. That would be the best way to just move. Follow.
Order. Hey, if you claim to be a follower of Yahushua is he embodied the ultimate example of being humble. He got this full spirit. He had 100% power in this flesh and didn't do anything. He actually gave himself up and got put on the cross. See? All right, keep reading this 2 Thessalonians. Because now we're going to get into Yahweh Shai. I'm going to make a point. Go ahead.
Verse 4. Who opposes and exalted himself above all that is called God,
Yep, so he opposes himself with Yahweh Shai in the 1144. That's Esau. Go ahead.
or that is worship.
Or that is worship. We worship Yahweh Shai. He opposes and put himself on top of that. Well, giant tries. So go ahead.
So that he, as God, sitteth in the temple of God,
That's right.
showing himself that he is
He
God.
a God. All right? That he is a God. Abad Barzal used the word omnipotent, which omnipotent means all power. You got omnipresence, which means all everywhere, or all every. Omni meaning all, presence meaning you're there. Okay? And then you got omniscience, which means all knowing. That's what Esau embodies himself as. That's what he thinks he is. With his AI technology and all this shit. You know? That now he's gonna come up with this 5G. And it's all 5G chip. That's gonna make him, to the ones that actually get the chip, that's gonna make him omnipotent, omnipresent, and omniscient. And that's gonna make him their God. But the elect 144 ain't gonna fall for that. You can't pluck the elect out of Yahweh Shai's hand. Then Yahweh Shai went to say, you can't even, if you can't pluck them out of my hand, what makes you think you can pluck it out of my father's?
That's right.
You see it? So is that it on the first one?
Yeah, that's on verse 4.
All right. So with that being said, again, I'm laying back in off of the brother Barzal. He said when the Romans, they were at their peak. Well, when were they at their peak? During the Roman Empire. I want you to go on your phone and go into Julius Caesar's death. Because when Julius Caesar was the end of the Roman Republic,
Yeah.
I want you, so you mind, can you get the word in the etymology, the word republic? Get the word republic. All right?
Yeah, because Julius Caesar,
get the word.
he got killed by his members. The members of the Senate that conspired. Brutus and the Council of Men, they conspired to kill Julius Caesar. But just like you said, that was the end.
He became a dictator, didn't he?
Oh, Julius Caesar?
Yeah,
He was becoming one.
Yeah,
He was the face of the people.
Yeah.
But the Senate, he had so much power they killed him.
And you said a very important phrase. He was the face of the people, which America claims we're a democracy. They claim that a democracy is chosen by people.
Yeah, people in the Senate.
Shut up,
Yeah.
Democracy, that ain't what America thinks is a democracy. It's not. They run a dictatorship.
It's dictatorship.
All right. So read a little bit of information on the assassination of Julius Caesar.
This is assassination of Julius Caesar was the result of a conspiracy by many Roman senators led by Janus.
Led by Gaius, Cassius, Longinus,
Decimus, Junius Brutus, Albinus, and Marcus Junius Brutus. They stabbed Caesar 23 times to death in a location adjacent to the theater of Pompey of the Ides of March 15 of 44 BC. Caesar was a dictator of the Roman Republic.
See, he was a dictator of the what?
Roman Republic.
Get the word republic.
This is the word republic on the online etymology.com. It says state in which supreme power rests in the people via elected representatives.
Read it again, very loud.
State in which supreme power rests in the people via elected representatives.
This is the Roman Republic. That's why the brother said Julius Caesar was the people's choice. He literally was. They wanted Julius there. He did start becoming a dictator. Therefore, the senators didn't like that. Therefore, they conspired against him and ended up what? Killing him on the Ides of March 15th. Okay? Reread again what republic means.
This is the word republic on the online etymology. It says state in which supreme power rests in the people via elected representatives.
That's technically a democracy. what a democracy is supposed to be, where the people choose. Okay, the power lies with the people. All right.
Demos is the people. Chrissy is to rule, if I'm not mistaken, to rule over people.
And the reason I wanted to bring this out, there's a reason why Yahushua wasn't born during the Roman Republic. Okay? There's a reason why he didn't come during the Republic. Here, Luke chapter 2 and 1. Oh, go ahead. Luke chapter 2.
This is Luke chapter 2, verse 1. And it came to pass in those days that went out a decree from Caesar Augustus.
All right? Get the second triumph. Just go on Google and type in second triumph. All right? Because you had the first triumph. I forgot who was contained. I think Pompey was in it.
Pompey, Julius, and Crassus.
The water.
Yeah.
But Julius came up on top to be the dictator.
Right. That's
So you got in the second triumph, it was Mark Antony, Marcus Longius, something like that, and then Octavian, who was reread Luke 2 and 1.
And it came to pass in those days there went out a decree from Caesar Augustus.
All right, Caesar Augustus. Octavian was Caesar Augustus. So go ahead.
The second triumphant is the name historians have given the official political alliance of Augustus Caesar, Octavian, Marcus Antonius.
Marcus, just say
Lepidus. Okay, yeah. Marcus Lepidus, formed on November 27, 43 BC.
All right, that was after the assassination of Julius Caesar. Now, the Roman Republic, which we understand by the word republic, is what? It's a people's choice. Okay? It's a people's choice. It started to emerge as an empire. Get the word empire, bro. There's a reason why Yahushua was not born during the Republic. He was born during the empire. Go ahead.
With the word empire, it says territory subject to an emperor's rule. It says in general, realm, dominion.
A dominion. So now, instead of a people's choice, it became a dominion in the rulership of Esau. Go ahead.
That word dominion goes back to dominant, which means lord.
Keep going, bro.
Lordship.
It says dominion, authority of an emperor, supreme power.
A supreme power. So the time when Esau made Rome an empire, that's when he started really becoming a true power. That's when you got the first and second Punic Wars. He took Africa, or he took Carthage, and expanded his empire, started to become big as hell and spreading it, so on and so forth. I'm just going through a synopsis of a vast variety of history that's going on.
Right.
All right?
And that had to fulfill the prophecy of the fourth beast.
That's right.
I was holding that.
It couldn't be a beast without being an actual dominion of an empire with one ruler over it.
That's right.
That's why when it said this beast was the fourth beast was diverse from all the other beasts, because you had that republic, but then it became that empire, that
authoritative.
Right, that
figure.
Yeah, that authoritative
I read
figure over the really, because they had to rule over Judea.
Full of guile and deception.
They had to rule over control over
It says a rule, a command, authority, control, power, supreme power, sole dominion, Salakia. It says military authority.
A military authority. Now, what is the word empire? What does the word empire describe? Yahushua's empire that's to come. So there's a reason why he wasn't born during the Republic. He was born during Esau's empire, because my empire is about to destroy yours. You see what I'm saying? The Lord's going to come back with an empire. What does it say? An authoritative authority, a dominion, a rulership. Really, the Lord's coming back with a monarchy. He's taking it back to the monarchy system. There's going to be kings and princes.
feudal system.
You see? He's going to have an order. It's not just going to be one dictator. That's what an empire is, one dictator. Because what? The scripture's saying, and what is in Romans 8 chapter, we should be joint heirs. That sounds like Yahushua sharing in me. There's going to be 144,000 others partaking in the empire to come, which is of Yahushua. There's a reason why he was born during the Roman Empire. Keep reading on Luke 2.
That there went out a decree from Caesar Augustus
A decree. Get, what is that? Isaiah 10?
that all the world should be taxed,
Yeah, that all of them should be taxed. Keep going.
and that this taxing was first made when Cyrenius was governor of Syria.
That when Cyrenius was made governor of Syria. Okay? That word Cyrenius means warrior. All right? When you go into it, of course, the blue letter would say it's Quirinius, but it's actually Publius Quintilius Verus when you look it up. All right? You stop right there. Keep going. Second triumph.
The adoption of which some view as the marking of the end of the Roman Republic.
The end of the Roman Republic, correct. When the end of the Roman Republic came, Caesar Augustus started ruling, then the Lord played chess games. Oh, y'all started an empire? Bet. Now I'm going to put my son in there. I'm going to put my son in there. And when Yahushua started his ministry for 3 years, he wreaked havoc. He showed that he could wreak havoc in the empire in a fleshly form. The scriptures say he's gonna come back and not meet you as a man. Get one of my favorite chapters. Get second Ezra chapter 13. Because this is the power that he's gonna come with. If he's gonna take down Esau's kingdom, ain't gonna be no more 4x4 trucks in his fish. All right, it Bud Light. Yeah, start from the top. Because this is how Yahushua is coming back to take down this empire. All right, and introduce his. Get Ecclesiastes 10 and start at 1. Go ahead.
This is 2nd Esdras 13 and 1. And it came to pass after 7 days, I dreamed a dream by night, and lo, there arose a wind from the sea, that it moved all the ways thereof. And I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven, and when he turned his countenance to look.
Hold that. It says he turned and looked strong with the thousands of heaven. Good job. Get Revelation 5 and 11. Get Daniel chapter 7 and 9. All right, reread that.
2nd Esdras 13 and 3. And I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven.
That the man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven, man. Drop that for now. Get Isaiah. Damn. God. I think it's Isaiah 34. Let me see what it says. So I can reread it again.
2nd Esdras chapter 13 and verse 1. And it came to pass after 7 days, I dreamed a dream by night. Verse 2. And lo, there arose a wind from the sea, that it moved all the ways thereof. And I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven.
That man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. Get Revelation 5 and 11. Because that thousands of heaven is the angels. Go ahead.
This is Revelation chapter 5, verse 11. And I beheld and heard a voice of many angels round about the throne, and the beasts and the elders, and the number of them was 10,000 times 10,000 and thousands of thousands.
Those are the ones that minister around the Lord, Yahweh, okay? That ministered around the Lord Yahweh. So who do you think when Yahweh gives the charge, I can say charge, because the word charge means a commandment. When he gives the word to Yahushua, what? Yahushua is going to go with them thousands and times 10,000s and thousands of angels that minister around Yahweh. Daniel chapter 7.
Conquer, man.
Daniel chapter 7 and verse 9.
Exactly. He bringing the whole squad.
Coming deep. Military.
All right, he coming with the whole Air Force because he already got his army on the ground, which is the 1144. Get shit up. All right, and Leviathan and all that. You probably gonna have. I'm speaking as a man in my imagination. You're probably gonna have one of the 11144 members riding Leviathan.
I always thought that. I want to do that.
Yeah.
Be like the Green Ranger.
You know what I'm saying? Brother whispered in my ear. It's off. But, you know, like he spoke softly behind me. That's a better way to say it. He spoke softly behind me. We should be in league with the beast. The beast gonna be in league with us. And the Lake 144 gonna ride Leviathan, man.
Hell yeah.
God
On
damn
fire.
it.
Like in certain video games, you press square, it blow fire. You press circle,
Hey, even
it stomp.
Like Call of
That's
Duty.
Mario.
Call it Airstrike.
That's Mario, man. You get on top of that little green dude.
Yoshi.
Yoshi. You got top on him. He's in league with the beast, man.
They showed that on
Mario
Avatar.
Luigi.
They showed that on Avatar.
Yup.
That's what we're gonna tap into.
Hey, we go. Hey, one of your legs gonna ride the fight.
There's gonna be a lot of Leviathans.
You never know, man.
Hell yeah.
On that thing.
We might be on top of that.
I'm going straight
Keep going.
And that's for you niggas that believe that Leviathan don't exist. You guys trying to say Leviathan is a so-called white man. Of course, according to the prophecy in Isaiah, he is known as Leviathan, the crooked serpent. But you have an actual Leviathan, a so-called sea monster. In the book of Job, with the 41st chapter. And it goes to the description, piece by piece, on how destructive this beast is.
Yep. And
They know it as the Loch Ness monster. Yeah.
And the Lord created things too. So there's more than one Leviathan. And they
Right.
populate that thing. It's probably
They
hella
showed you that in
Leviathans.
the Godzilla movie that came out in '98. They found all the eggs under New York.
Oh yeah,
They
and
was
they were at Madison
multiplying.
Square Garden.
Yeah.
So Godzilla.
Yeah.
Yeah, Godzilla actually had a son. Godzilla.
Yeah, Gazoo.
Godzillaologist over there.
Take a chariot, and form the chariot around the Leviathan, turn them into Mecha Leviathan, like Mecha guys.
Hey man,
all
I should
silver
have
and
taken
gold.
This is Daniel 7 verse 9. I beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the Ancient of
It
Days.
says until the thrones were cast down, meaning all these other nations were cast down. The scriptures say in the book of Revelation that Yahweh Shai is going to have a crown. He's going to have many crowns on his head. Meaning that means he took down all these nations. Keep going.
And the Ancient of Days is sick,
That's Yahweh. Go, keep going.
whose garment was white as snow,
Meaning he was pure, man. He's pure. The scriptures say his eyes cannot his eyes are too pure to behold unrighteousness, behold iniquity. The water, brother, keep going.
and the hair of his head like the pure wool.
His hair is like the pure wool. That's how you know Yahweh Shai is a resemblance of his father. Keep going. Why wouldn't the son look like his father, man? Fuck out of here. Go ahead.
His throne was like the fiery flame,
The fiery flames, speaking about chariot, go ahead.
and his wheels as burning fire.
His wheels is burning fire. You can get more edification when you read Ezekiel 1st chapter. Go ahead.
A fiery stream issued and came forth from before him. Thousands ministered unto him,
Minister meaning servant. Go ahead.
and 10,000 times 10,000
Literally the same thing that says in Revelation 5 and 11. Literally the same number. Literally. Go ahead.
stood before him.
Still before. Go back to 2 Ezra 13.
It's 2 Ezra 13 and 3. And beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven, and when he turned his countenance to look, all the things trembled that were seen under him.
Go ahead.
Verse 4, and whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burnt that heard his voice.
That's right. Hey, that goes to show you. That's Hebrews chapter 4 and 12. That's a weapon. Okay? Whenever he commanded, dust. Easy. 1 hour, you can best believe that it'll be 1 hour. It can be less than that. He just wants it to be 1 hour. But you just speaking a commandment and a charge, and everything just dust. That's how you know man's gonna be quick, swift, easy. Go ahead.
All they burnt that heard
You
his
gotta think
voice.
about it. The Lord is allowing Esau to gather up his troops. Like, hey, come on, man.
We could have been invaded.
Let me see what you got. Oh, okay. First off, I know what you got because Isaiah 54, man. You got Isaiah. I already know what you got. It came from me, nigga. Shit, Robert Oppenheimer and the Manhattan Project, that was me. It wasn't you, but Esau too proud. He will take it, yeah, I came up with this. Nah, nigga. I did. Like, what are you talking about? What's that? Proverbs 16:1, one of my favorite scriptures. You know?
You think he gonna do something the Most High can't do?
Yeah. Like, please. You think you can do what the Most High can do? Like, what?
But you know
everything you got, the Lord created.
You know how many articles come out about how Esau's scared to do this and do that? They don't want to go to war with the chariot. They don't want to.
They barely want to go to war with one another.
making them do it.
They barely want to go to war with one another.
Right.
The brother put in the group text that Trump, he said he was going to attack Iran, but then he pulled back. Then he pulled back. So what do you think you're going to do against the Lord, man? You can barely fight some crackhead Edomites over there, man. Some crackhead Moabites and shit, and other dukes of Edom, man. Shut the fuck up about
what's gonna happen?
About you gonna fight the Lord, man. Dude, that's you gonna get burnt too.
I don't know if you've seen it, but you know, Trump had pulled back from attacking Iran. Well, that's Esau. You know, that's rumors of war.
Of course.
That's America and this speaking great swelling words, right? But then at the same time, this guy, the Senator Lindsey Graham, he said that Israel is going to attack Iran first, and then America's going to jump in.
Well, that's the prophecy.
That's the prophecy.
That's the prophecy that we should draw out.
Jeremiah 49, yeah. So that's why that happened, because that report came out right after, because that prophecy got to take place. So the Lord is sticking with His words and what He said.
But still, for the sake of the point, y'all motherfuckers act like y'all can't even attack each other. Y'all men, like just mortal men.
Go ahead and go to war, man.
Well, y'all niggas scared, but you have the audacity to shoot a laser beam at a chariot.
And that laser look slow as hell too.
They tried it.
What did I call it? No, yeah, Isaiah 54.
Yeah, I got you.
You know I want right
16. No weapon.
Go on, verse 11.
Behold, verse 16. This is Isaiah 54:16. Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals.
I gave you the idea to make a. Yeah, keep going.
Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coal in the fire, and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work.
What's the instrument for the work that the Lord is going to do to America on the nuclear missile? I gave you the idea, dummy. He's so dumb as hell, man. It's so funny too.
Hey, you know how the Lord gave the inspiration? Because you said I've created, right?
Yeah, I have created the smith that bloweth the coal.
Yeah, the word create in the Hebrew is barah, if I'm not mistaken. That's the Hebrew word for created, barah. And when you go to Genesis, it says in the beginning, the Lord created the heaven and the earth. That's in the beginning is bara asha, ha Yahweh, or Alahayim. Alahayim, bara, created. Ha Shemayim, wa ha Haratazah. So I say all that just to say, the scripture says that the Lord created the heaven and the earth, and when the Lord created the earth, He created all the elements under the earth. And the elements under the earth are to be used and accessed to create technology. The Lord already knows man's thoughts, you know, lithium and all these plutonium, all these different elements, uranium. He already created these things in the earth because He knew that man was going to take their will and dig in the earth and gain these resources, infuse these resources, and create these resources to be devastating for either technology or military purposes. Right. So man that actually created these weapons, the Lord already put it here in the beginning for you to actually use these weapons for war. And He knew in due time, all right, as time progresses, this is going to be the time where they're going to have the access and the mental faculties to create a missile.
That's Daniel 12. That's Daniel 12, but knowledge should increase. Go ahead, bro.
It says,
and I'm going to land back off of horizontal.
And I have created the waster to destroy.
That's the missile. Hold that. Hit Job 32:8.
This is Job 32, verse 8. But there is a spirit in man.
Hold that. Get Ecclesiastes 12:7.
This is Ecclesiastes.
It said there's a spirit in man. Go ahead.
Ecclesiastes 12 and verse 7. Then shall the dust return to the earth as it was, and the spirit shall return unto the Most High who gave it.
All right, read Job 32 and 8.
But there is a spirit in man, and the inspiration of the Almighty giveth them understanding.
All right, and the inspiration of the Almighty giveth understanding. The reason why I brought out Ecclesiastes 12 and 7 is because the spirit returns unto the Lord. When you go back up to the Lord, yes, even Edomites, the spirit goes back to the Father of spirits because he created it. So of course his own possession is going to come back to him. It's natural. All right, goes back and they get their judgment. But goddamn it, the spirit of Robert Oppenheimer came back to the Lord. The Lord's like, you're going to create something. All right? You're going to create a missile. And you're going to create an atomic bomb. You're going to bomb the Hiroshima and Nagasaki. All right? Of them Ammonites up there. All right, Playboy? Put his ass right back into a vessel. That's where you guys are at 54. That's where you get Job 32. He gave him the inspiration when he came back to the spirit world. Okay? And he made him remember what the hell he was gonna do, okay, when he was on the earth. That's when Esau started coming up with nuclear fission. E equals MC squared. I don't know what the fuck he is. You know what I'm saying? All that shit. The Manhattan Project, the atomic bombs, all that was the inspiration of the Lord. The Lord controls all spirits. Somebody give me, did you finish that? Read it.
This is Job chapter 32, verse 8.
And I'm applying this. Because you can apply this to an Edomite. I'm applying this. Okay? Applying it. Because Edomites got spirits too. And the Lord deals. He deals with the good and the evil. He does what he wants. The scriptures tell you that. Okay? So he gave some type of inspiration. He gave the breadth of understanding to create a missile to the Edomites. Simple. All right, go ahead.
But there is a spirit in man, and the inspiration of the Almighty giveth them understanding.
He understands how to build a missile now, according to Isaiah 54 and 16. A way to destroy. I gave that inclination. Which the word inclination means a natural tendency to do something. The natural tendency of a white man is to kill. So of course he's gonna make a missile. Finish it off, and then I'll get your precept.
Great men are not always wise, neither do the aged understand judgment.
That's right.
Isaiah chapter 10, verse 15. Shall the ass boast against itself? Isaiah chapter 10, verse 15. Shall the ass boast itself against him that heweth therewith? Or shall the saw magnify itself against him that shaketh it? As if the rod should shake itself against them that lift it up, or as if the staff should lift up itself, as if it were no wood. Because, yeah, that's just like Esau. Esau is just a tool that the Most High uses to deceive and destroy the earth, and destroy, mainly his people. Which are trying to Israel, mainly for his war. Like you said, the missile war weapons, Esau was created to create this war weapon of destruction. That was his judgment when he went back to the spirit world. And over the spirit of his lifetime.
This is Isaiah chapter 66, verse 18. For I know their works in their thoughts. It shall come that I will gather all nations and tongues, and they shall come and see my glory.
Read the first part.
Isaiah chapter 66, verse 18. For I know their works in their thoughts.
I know their works in their thoughts. Brother Rock, can you get John chapter 2 and 23? All right. Reread that.
Isaiah chapter 66, verse 18. For I know their works in their thoughts.
I know their works in their thoughts. Go ahead.
It shall come that I will gather all nations and tongues, and they shall come and see my glory.
And they shall come and see my glory. That's what we're in. Second Ezra 13. Because they all will come and behold the glory which Yahweh Shai is going to put forth to show. Because he's coming, like I said it, say it again like the scripture said. He's not coming back as a man. He's meeting you at a different light, a different power. Something you ain't never seen. Feast your eyes on the power. Okay? That's exactly what's going to happen. Get that. Because it says, I know their works. What I know it. And they thoughts, man. Go ahead. John 2:23. No, you good, bro.
This is
John.
John.
Know, man. Go ahead.
This is John chapter 2, verse 23. Now when he was in Jerusalem at the Passover, in the feast day, many believed in his name, and when they saw the miracles which he did, verse 24, but Yahushua did not commit himself unto them.
Did not commit himself unto them because of why?
Because he knew all men.
He knew all men. Keep going.
And needed not that any should testify of man, for he knew what was in man.
He already knew what was in man. All right? Listen, we're going to get Colossians. Matter of fact, start at
24 elders.
Yeah, get one of 16. Yeah, start there. Get to the point.
Colossians chapter 1, verse 16. For by him were all things created.
All right. It's like self-explanatory. Golly, it's like by him all things were created. This is talking about Yahushua. This book, first chapter of Colossians is setting the preeminence of Yahushua. It even says the word preeminence in the chapter. All right, it's talking about Yahushua. If you created something, don't you know all the ins and outs? I like cars. I like cargo chariots. All right, I like cars. I'm gonna speak on this. If you buy a let's see what car. If you buy a Nissan GTR, which is Nissan's top of the line car, top performance car, okay? If you buy a Nissan GTR and you pop the hood and you look at the twin turbo that's sitting there, there's a plaque on it, and they'll have some Ammonite's name on it, and in the model number of the car that you bought. Okay? Meaning what? That person specifically built this engine. So don't you think that person knows the ins and outs to that engine? He knows the ins and outs to that engine. There will be no other reason why his name is on that plate. Get your precept.
This is Sirach 33:13. As the clay in the potter's hand to fashion it at his pleasure.
At his pleasure. At his pleasure, meaning how I want it to be done. Okay? Reread it.
As clay, as Sirach 33:13, as the clay is in the potter's hand to fashion it as his pleasure, so man is in the hand of him that made him.
Come on, and who is the creator? Who got the commandment to create all things? Yahushua did. Okay, Yahushua gave Yahushua the charge to go and create these things. So Yahushua created these things in his likeness, in his pleasure, the way he wanted it done. Okay, he was intricate with it, put the things, wired everything together. So Esau, what makes you fucking think you can fight against him? He knows your every move. He knows everything you ever built because he gave you the inclination of it. He gave you the idea. He knows the weapons you have. The top secret shit that you got ain't too fucking secret. The Lord knows.
Yeah, go ahead. That's like you going against a team that got your whole goddamn playbook, and you go out and think you gonna win. Nigga know what you gonna run to a T.
They know your every move.
Right.
They know what
jumping the snap, counting, and everything.
They know what you're gonna do on third down.
Right. Yeah. To finish it off, it says, so man is in the hand of him that made him to render to them as like of him best.
To render to him that like of him best. It's what I want.
Right.
It's what I want. I'm gonna give you the idea that I want you to have. I'm gonna give you the weapons that I want you to have to come fight me.
Right.
To show how primitive your dumb ass is, Esau. Stupid as hell. That shit is funny, man.
Yeah, that shit crazy.
It's fucking hilarious. Like you fucking idiot. The scriptures say my people shall be willing in the day of in the power. The day of thy power. Yeah. This nigga Esau, he ain't gonna be willing, he's gonna be What the fuck did I do to get into this? Get your precept, bro. You can break it down too.
This is Ecclesiasticus or Sirach 39, verse 19. The works of all flesh are before him. The works of all flesh are before Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. There's nothing that you can do that's going to be hid from you. That's right. To you one. And nothing can be hid from his eyes. Goes to show you that the Lord knows all things. And the angels are surrounding this place as well in these chariots, you know, and the scriptures speak about the eyes of the Lord are 10,000 times brighter than the sun. Okay? So this place is surrounded. There's nothing that you can do to hide from Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. Okay?
Ain't shit. Ain't nothing you can do, man. That's the third time that's brought up. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
So someone get the scripture. Someone get it. Yeah, someone get it. Get your precept.
This is
we just right now we getting all the precepts to show you how dumb you are, right. Son. We understand to an extent the Lord's power, man.
I got it.
We haven't seen his full destruction. We see 1,000 people die here, a tsunami and a tornado here and there, earthquakes, which I'm not downplaying them at all. Them things are like powerful as hell. You see what I'm saying? But like blowing shit up, like a whole city just wiped away, which the Lord is gonna do when he comes, when Yahushua comes to the Middle East over there in Israel area. He's gonna blow all that shit away. He's gonna blow the whole Middle East away and cleanse it. We ain't seen the power on that multitude yet. We haven't even seen it yet, and we're like, I don't want to mess with you. We just got told we were going off, and now we still, I don't want to mess with you because I went off. You know, get your precept.
This is Proverbs 16:4.
Yep.
The Lord had made all things for himself.
Start at 1 and then read down.
This is Proverbs 16:1. The preparations of the heart and man and the answers of the tongue is from the Lord.
All right. So if the preparation comes from the Lord, your arrangements, that's what the word preparation means. What the fuck you think? Esau think he got a drop on the Lord. This nigga dumb, bro. The Lord is like 8 million steps ahead of your stupid ass, man. All right, keep going.
All the ways of a man are clean in his own eyes.
Hey, Esau, hey. I got this dimension ray gun. I bet they don't know about flash. Shut up, nigga. The Lord knows. Right. Any little thing you got that's top secret, the Lord already knows. He put it in your mind and make it. Keep going. Right.
But the Lord weighs the spirits.
The Lord weighs the spirits. He knows. We read John 2. This brother had a quick word. Isaiah, what was that? 66 and 18. He know your thoughts. He know your inward thoughts. He know your works. Okay, keep going.
Commit thy work unto the Lord, and thy thoughts shall be established.
That's us. That's us, because the Lord, Esau ain't got to commit the shit, but it's damn pride. Keep going.
The Lord had made all things for himself.
Come on, bro. Come on. He made all things for himself. We're still holding Colossians, right? Yeah. All right. We're still holding Colossians. He made things for himself. Even your dumbass, Esau. So keep going to your precept.
Yea, even the wicked for the day of evil.
Even the wicked for the day of evil. He made you for that specific reason. That's your lot, Esau. You didn't know that. Shit. But think you got the drop on the Lord, dumbass. These Edomites stupid as fuck, man. Sometimes y'all, I think y'all be more simple than fucking Moab. God, man. Like, real talk, no, I take that back. Esau is dumber than Moab, Ammon, Elam, all these other nations. He's the basis of men, like the scripture says. You are the dumbest. You're idiot. You're just stupid, bro. Like, what the fuck? You're hilarious. Hysterical. You're a comedy, bro. This shit is funny to watch. This is absolutely comical. You're the new Chris Rock, man. Fucking new Dave Chappelle, but got pale ass skin. Shit.
And if I can say, that's how you know we blessed, man, because we blessed without sin. We blessed without seeing the works of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. But Esau, man, you just gonna have to get the action of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Simple as that.
Man, get Revelation chapter 9. I forgot. It's like one of the last verses. All right. Got it on there?
I'm still holding 12 and 7.
Hold that. Keep going. Did you have precept?
Colossians chapter 1, verse 16. For by
And
him,
this is just to cap it off, so you can understand that you're not in control of shit. The Lord got we got the drop on you. We got the drop on you.
You got the scope on this
We
damn
got the
devil.
drop.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
verse 16, for by him were all things created, that are in heaven and that are in earth, visible and invisible, whether they be thrones or dominions or principalities or powers, all things were created by him and for
It
him.
said visible and invisible. Your thoughts are invisible. You can't see a thought. You can manifest a thought. But what the Lord put in you was a thought, which is something that's invisible. So he already knows, man. He created it. It's already been written. All right? Keep going. Is that it on it? Keep going.
Verse 17. And he is before all things, and by him all things consist.
By him, all things consist. If it wasn't for Yahweh Shai, there would be nothing here. There would be no Atlanta, Georgia. There would be no tripod or a sign. Or a goofy ass Camaro with a goofy ass nigga. looking at us like we goofy.
Right.
Like, nigga, what the fuck is going on? This is
Right.
backwards.
Right.
You goofy. You driving a car that sounds like a fart.
Right.
Trying to flex for me.
God damn. Fuck Babylon, bro. This shit funny as hell, bro. It's comical. You were Isaiah
circle,
66,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You know what I want?
Irony.
Where they laugh. So it's joyful. Get, I think it's 66 and like 14. No, 65 and 13. You see what that says?
This is Isaiah chapter 65, verse 13. Therefore said Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, behold, my servant shall eat, but ye shall be hungry. Behold, my servant shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty. Behold, my servant shall rejoice, and ye shall be ashamed.
Woo!
Yeah.
Jumping for joy. Laughing. Thinking things is funny. You know what I'm saying? Okay, come. Was that in on Isaiah?
Yeah, that was.
You know what I want.
Yeah.
Get that, brother.
This is Proverbs 1, and I'll start at verse 25. But ye have set at naught all my counsel, and with none of my reproof. Verse 26. And I will laugh at your calamity, and I will mock when your fear cometh.
How do you think that's going to come? Through his men. You think the Lord Yahweh is going to get off his throne to come down and laugh at you? You aren't even worthy to get laughed at by the Lord. He has to laugh at you through his men. All right? And we laughing right now because get it? Ecclesiastes 3. You know, start at 1 and it goes into the seasons of times. What you have to say? Go ahead.
This is Luke chapter 6, verse 25. Woe unto you that are full, for ye shall hunger. Woe unto you that laugh now, for ye shall mourn and weep.
That's right. Woe unto you that laugh now, you shall mourn and weep. Okay? Esau laughing because he's prideful as hell. Okay? He laughing, think he got the like we said, the drop on everybody. Think he got the upper hand. Sitting on the stool like Captain Morgan. think he about it, man. Nah, bro. You ain't about shit. You ain't about shit. Alright? You ain't about it, bro. Alright? We read that, bro. That was how we shot speaking.
Kind, we were just talking about the eagle. That's the spirit. It had a tag with an eagle on it that just rolled past his mouth. This is and the eagle symbolizes Esau's rulership. But this is Luke chapter 6, verse 25. Woe unto you that are full, for ye shall hunger. Woe unto you that laugh now, for ye shall mourn and weep.
Woe unto you that are full, you shall hunger. Boy, hey, shit. In the book of Job, it tells you right before he's about to fill his belly, you gonna crash the Yahweh Shai gonna crash the party. Look at Job 19 or Job 20?
20.
Job 20. Right before, he gonna crash the party. Done, man. Alright?
Ecclesiastes 3 and 1.
That's okay, that was good. Limitations 4. You gotta live it up. Live it up a little bit.
Ecclesiastes 3:1. To everything there's a season, and a time to every purpose under the heaven.
It's a season, it's a time, it's a purpose. Go ahead.
A time to
That's a cut to when people think of believe in luck and coincidences. Nah, bro. It's reasons. There's reasons behind it.
verse 2, a time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant, and a time to pluck up that which is planted. A time to kill, a time to heal, a time to break down, and a time to build up, a time to weep, and a time to laugh.
There you go. A time to weep and a time to laugh. What verse is that?
That was 4.
Verse 4. We're in that verse. We're in that verse right now. A time to weep and a time to laugh. We're in the transition of that verse. We were weeping, but we're turning into a laugh. It's turning into a laugh. You see? We're laughing at Esau, dumbass, right now. We're gonna laugh in the day of trouble. Jacob's trouble is gonna be our time to laugh. The ones who are sincere in worshiping the Lord in spirit and truth. It's going to be their time to laugh. It is well worth waiting for. All right? You can keep going. See what else is
A time to mourn, a time to dance.
A time to mourn and time to dance. We read in Isaiah 65:13 that ye shall be ashamed and we shall rejoice. When I think of the word rejoice and the action of doing it, we're jumping for joy, we're happy, ecstatic, excited, brotherly love, drinking yayan and shit, got women around and shit, in our rulership, So, that's what I think about when rejoicing. But there's a time and a place for all of that. So read 1 Samuel 2:6.
1 Samuel chapter 2, verse 6. The Lord killeth and maketh alive.
There's a time and a place. He kills when he needs to. He makes alive when he needs to. Go ahead.
He bringeth down to the grave and bringeth up.
He bringeth down to the grave and bringeth up. That's how it shows.
The Lord maketh poor and make it rich.
The Lord make it poor, make it rich. In the book of Ecclesiastes, it says it's nothing for the Lord to make a poor man rich. And it's nothing. Meaning, I can do whatever I want. Hey, what? Get Matthew chapter 3. Get Matthew chapter 3. We're going to see what John the Baptist said. Get Matthew 3:1. All right? Keep going.
He bringeth low and he lifteth up.
He bringeth low and lifteth up. All right? Get Ecclesiastes chapter 10. Yeah, precept 10. All right, get Ecclesiastes chapter 10. Start at 1. Hold that.
This is Sirach chapter 10 and verse 1. A wise judge will instruct his people,
Go ahead.
and the government of a prudent man is well ordered.
It's Proverbs 29. Go ahead.
As the judge of the people is himself, so are his officers.
That's right. When you look at the kingdom of Solomon, Queen Sheba got the servant with Solomon. But it's because Solomon ruled in the correct manner. Of course he's going to look like that. Of course he's going to carry himself in a certain manner. Because that's how his kingdom is carrying himself. Go ahead.
Read verse 2 again. As the judge of the people is himself, so are his officers.
That's right.
And what manner of man the ruler of the city is, such are all they that dwell therein.
That's right.
An unwise king destroyeth his people, but through the prudence of them which are in authority, the city shall be inhabited.
Again, that's Proverbs 29:2. Keep going, bro.
Verse 4, the power of the earth is in the hand of the Lord.
That's Job, what's that, 9:24? The power of the earth was given into the hands of the wicked. Reread verse 4.
The power of the earth is in the hand of the Lord.
The power of the earth is in the hand of the Lord. Something to do with it. All right, go ahead.
And in due time,
which goes back to Ecclesiastes 3, the time and place, season for everything.
That's perfect, bro. I didn't ask you. That's true. He says in due time. In due time, there's a time and a place. Go ahead.
In due time, he will set over it one that is profitable.
One that is profitable. Who's the ones that are profitable? The ones that are meek, low, and humble right now. Read.
This is 1 Samuel chapter 2, verse 7. The Lord maketh poor and maketh rich. He bringeth low and lifteth up.
Bringeth low and lifteth up. All right? In due time. In due time, he's going to do that. All right?
Yeah, continue. Verse 8. He raises up the poor out of the dust.
He raises up the poor out of the dust. The word dust is symbolic. It means you're low. The word dust is equivalent to contrite. You know, the scriptures say he deals with a man of a contrite spirit. The word contrite means of the ground. It means of the dust. It means of the ground. So it says, I bring up the poor of the dust. That's us. All right? Get Ecclesiastes chapter 26 and 28. Reread it.
Verse 8. He raises up the poor out of the dust and lifts up the beggar from the dunghill, to set them among princes and to make them inherit the throne of glory.
You talking about he brought men out of a shit show or shit hole, literally? Because that's where we are. America's a big ass shit hole. It's a big ass asshole. Yeah, shit. Hey, Psalm 23, it says the valley of the shadow of death. God damn it, I don't mean to be vulgar, but it ass got 2 hills and a little valley. It's a fucking shithole here, man. Hey, I'm just being real. The valley's a low place.
Right. Yeah.
The asshole's right there in the middle of the cheeks. That's America. It's booty cheeks, man.
That's what it smell like too.
It smell like booty. Man, that's the spirit. I was with the brother Sicario. I was with the brother Sicario. We got out the car and walking up here. I'm like, man, this smell like shit and garbage. Yeah, you said it too?
Yeah, I said it.
It smell like ass. Because we in the valley of the shadow of death, which is the booty cheek. That's America, bro. I don't mean to, it's funny, but it's just, it's real.
Yeah, it's real, yeah.
It's real shit. This place is booty cheeks. Booty butt cheeks. Booty butt cheeks. That's the anthem for this fucking place. I hate America, man. It's so trash. This shit is trash, man. All right? So it says, where my ass lock it. I kind of caught myself off guard. Let's get back in the spirit. Read the words of the Lord. Read verse 8.
1 Samuel chapter 2, verse 8. He raises up the poor out of the dust and lifts up the beggar from the dunghill.
He raises up the beggar from the dunghill. We're begging the Lord to get out of here. To get out of this shithole. Literally, this doo-doo hole. This boo-boo.
In the word pray means to beg.
It's a supplication. That's right, bro. It's like, say what you gonna say.
Con, that was
Con, you know, the word prayer is beg, like the brother said. Keep going.
To set them among princes and to make them inherit the throne of glory.
And make them inherit the throne of glory. Hold that. Get Sirach 26 and 28.
Con, this is Sirach chapter 26.
What it says in 1 Samuel, it says the poor out of the dunghill. All right? Get what's that? Ecclesiastes 10 and 6. Ecclesiastes 10 and 6. Go ahead, bro.
This is Sirach 26 and 28. There be 2 things that grieve my heart, and the third maketh me angry.
That's right. The third maketh me angry. But I really want to focus on 2 things. All right? All right, so go ahead, bro.
Come. There be 2 things that grieve my heart, and the third maketh me angry. A man of war that suffereth poverty.
A man of war that suffers poverty. We're men of war, and we're in a low, poor shit show called America. We're in the valley of the shadow of death. The asshole. This fucking place, man. We in the booty hole, man. All right, read Ecclesiastes 10 and 6.
Ecclesiastes chapter 10, verse 6. Folly is set in great dignity.
Folly is set in great dignity, man. It's put up on a pedestal. I was thinking of a 40-year-old virgin put the pussy on a pedestal.
Yes, it is.
That's America, man. Because America's a whore. And these niggas put the pussy on a pedestal. Ah! There's so many analogies to explain the irony. These niggas put the pussy on a pedestal. They put this whore America on a pedestal, man.
When this bitch ain't shit.
Ain't shit.
Yeah, they put this on.
But a dirty booty hole.
Stank over here, guys.
Stank. You stank. Not stink, stank. Stank with an H. Golly, man.
All kind
That's
of viral
America.
infection.
Look good on the outside. Round booty. Nah, bro. That shit stink.
Oh, it said, what it say as a jewel and a, what's that? I think Proverbs 10 and 22. As a jewel in the nose of a swan, so was a fair woman without discretion. You know, because, you know, a jewel of gold, you look at it like, damn, that's a badass jewel, but it's on a fucking pig. Right. The same thing with America. That's why I said that she was arrayed in all kind of beautiful ornaments, but a sin is as scarlet. She burning, man. You know? Right when you go inside, you fucking through. Sick as a hoe.
And now you got a disease, damn it.
Incurable.
Folly is set in great dignity, and the rich sit in low place.
And the rich sit in low place. Hey, Rock, that's a lot. You go back to yeah. It says, in the rich sit in low places. Go back to verse 26.
There be two things that grieve a man's heart, and the third maketh me angry. A man of war that suffer poverty.
That's the rich that sit in low places. Go ahead.
And a man of understanding that are not set by.
Well, that is the poor. That's the rich that sit in low places too. We're rich in knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of how about Shani outside. We through. But they gonna blame us for a false flag coming soon. They gonna bear false witness in it. I could barely buy a 12-pack of beer, damn it.
Right.
You gonna tell me that I can destroy the whole city? What are you talking about? I can barely cook for the bros. Shit, I can barely afford a goddamn crock pot. Right. You talking about I did this? You out your goddamn dumbass mind.
I can barely change my damn brakes. I can stroke with the bone. Come on now. I can't change brakes on the goddamn car.
I can barely buy new drawers. You sitting here talking about what the fuck? Shit. But go ahead, bro.
Okay. It
says that men not set by, man. Set by meaning well off. We're doing okay. All right, keep going.
And one that returneth from righteousness to sin, the Lord prepares such, and one of the sword.
That's if you get indecisive and you relapse. Relapse from the word and go back to the. You see a lot of people relapse. Reprobate. The word reprobate means infidel. The word infidel means lacking faith. You're not confident. The word confident means with faith. You lost your confidence. You lost your integrity. You're an infidel. You're a reprobate. You don't have no faith. Yeah, you said what?
Yeah, I had one.
Bring it out.
This is Psalms chapter 84, verse 10. For a day in thy courts is better than 1,000. I had rather be a doorkeeper in the house of the Most High than to dwell in the tents of wickedness. Come, but that's us right now. We rather not live it up right now in this world right now and prosper, okay? Because it's temporary. Okay, the kingdom of heaven, which is physical, is gonna be forever, man. No more death, as spoken about Revelation chapter 21. Okay, we rather be humble and a doorkeeper in the kingdom of heaven. All right, that's being the poor, man. That's the spirit of Yahweh Shemi Al-Shah. And we are ambassadors of Yahweh Shemi Al-Shah right now.
Ambassadors and representatives. We represent. Hey, Yahweh Shai said it best, man. Paraphrasing in that when you're bidding to the marriage, to not to sit in the high seat. All right, or someone's gonna come and tell your ass to fuck about that seat, and now you embarrassed.
Yeah.
Through. Now you embarrassed. Pick a low seat. Sit all the way in the back. Even if you have a quote-unquote a positional arrangement, sit your ass in the back and wait to get promoted. That's the best way to go. That's the best way to go. Humility will get you hella far. Far. It will get you into a chariot. Because you got to, faith is the main component, but you got all these little different spices that go into the pot. Humility, confidence, belief. What's another one? Name it. Charity, edifying, brotherly love. You know, you got all these little things that spice it up. And then what's that? You ever watch that show, Emerald Live? And they say, bam! Which is the faith. Which is the faith. And then you come out the oven, because you got to go through the fire gotta go through the heat, come out the oven, a nice little dish. Crispy. All right? Crispy as hell. All right? You got some more? Sit at the low seat.
This is Sirach 32:1. If thou be made the master of a feast, lift not thyself up, but be among them as one of the rest, that take diligent care for them, and so sit down. And that's basically what the brother was saying, man. Hey, take the low, man. You're a young man in this faith trying to sit amongst the elders. You know, just because you know a little bit. Hey, man, take the low.
And taking the low too, example, when Yahweh Shah was watching the disciples' feet, he took the low.
He washed Judas Iscariot's feet. You talk about taking the low. And he knew what he was about to do.
Verse 2. Verse 2. And when thou hast done all thy office, take thy place, that thou mayest be merry with them, and receive a crown for thy well ordering of the feast. All right, so, do your office, man, and don't be trying to be, you know, something that you're not. Cause like them say, next thing you know, you get your ass cursed out and you embarrassed that way because you going above your measure, trying to do too much.
Yeah, he was sufficient for the young.
Right.
That's the spirit. You say he was sufficient.
This is Sirach, chapter 31, verse 16. Eat as it become a man those things which are set before thee, and devour not, lest thou be hated.
Yeah, that's exactly. He was sufficient for you. You know, so the key of the thing, be humble, believe in Yahweh Shai, push his name, push the name of the Lord, Yahweh Shai, okay? And that will get you on a chariot. And so with that, we're going to close it out, giving all glory, honor, and praises to
Yahweh Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Shem, Rakakadash.
Double honors to the apostles and elders, the great millstone who rule and teach well. Peace, love, salutations to the 1144 First Fruit. Shalom.
Shalom. Bob.